Welcome to Volusia Speedway Park as we get set for the second and final night of the inaugural Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. Starting the night with a 10-lap dash, the 12 cars that were locked in from last night getting set to go 10 laps to determine the way the top 6 rows line up for tonight's main event. I'm Ben Shelton, joined by Tommy Rowe. Tommy, we had a fantastic night of racing last night. We saw some fantastic moves. We saw some guys have some fantastic wrecks. Tonight, whether you had a good night or a bad night, you're going to have a full chance here tonight to still get a chance at that big prize. We've got the 12 guys locked in, but everybody else seated back into their servers. Complete show on both those servers. No shortage of action here on this program.
And set to go with the South Texas Speedway pole dash here at the Volusia Speedway Park. Once again, redemption night here for all the rest of the drivers, though, trying to lock into that 50-lap feature event later on tonight. Going to have 2 full programs. Should be a lot of fun to call here in just a little bit.
Well, we've seen the track right now getting run in the low 17-second bracket for this dash, and that kind of lends itself that it may be really fast early on, like we saw in server number 2 last night. So passing could come at a premium here in this dash, but the good news is these guys know they're all in the show. 50 laps. It's going to be a long time for the finale later tonight. $500 to the winner, over $3,000 total on the line. And it's going to be a really fascinating night. A lot of good-looking race cars. We got drivers from all across North America, from the United States and Canada, trying to get bragging rights in this big event.
Absolutely. Some of the best in the modifieds, as well as the other chassis, right here at TeamVLR.com, here for the South Texas Speedway VLR Star Spangled Showdown, getting set to go. And I do believe KT King, race administrator, has advanced the session, and we're getting set to go. Grid up for our Star Spangled Showdown pole dash.
12 cars getting set to go in this one. And again, this is the way they will start the main event tonight. Unless there's a wrinkle, we're going to talk to the top 2 finishers afterwards, and they're going to have a chance for a little bit of a bonus money. We'll go over that later. But right now, Tommy, we are set to lay down the lineup for this dash.
All right, starting on the front row on the inside in that 127 machine. He comes to us out of Asheville, New York. It'll be Blake Majulis in the Swindell Speed Lab 127 machine. And to his outside in the 00, it'll be Kendall Tucker, Mount Airy, North Carolina driver. Row number 2 on the inside in that 22 machine. That'll be Kevin Detman, Shelby, North Carolina driver. To his outside, that'll be the Canadian Alex Bergeron in car number 12. Row number 3 on the inside in that 15 machine. That'll be Mason Crawford, and to his outside in the 14, it'll be J.D. Brown. Row number 4 on the inside in the 74, that'll be Adam Elby. To his outside in the 40 and M14, that'll be Shad Prescott. And row number 5 on the inside in the 3 machine, that'll be Shane James, and to his outside in the 52, that'll be James Eatons. And your 6th and final row here tonight for the VLR Star Spangled Showdown pole dash. On the inside in the 42, that'll be Jordan Casey, and to his outside in the 2 machine, that'll be Dylan Hauser. 12 drivers, 10 laps, pole on the line for the Star Spangled Showdown here tonight, Ben.
Well, we talked about how much diversity is in this field, and how about this dash, unofficially just running through the lineup here. 12 drivers, 2 countries, 8 different states. That's how your top 6 rows are going to line up for tonight's 50-lapper. And right now, these drivers are getting set to go at it for 10 laps. The winner of this one, in theory, is going to be on the pole for the big show later tonight, but nothing comes that easy here at Team VLR. We're going to talk to your top 2 finishers, and they're going to have a chance to maybe forfeit that starting spot for the main event and go after some extra cash. Another wrinkle in the program, Tommy.
Yeah, front row challenge. The top 2 that'll start on the front row in tonight's main event have the option to start tail end of the main event for a little bit of extra bonus cash, but nonetheless, Blake Majulis, Kendall Tucker lead him to the green right here out of turn number 4. It'll be Blake Majulis down into turn number 1.
New York leads us through turns 1 and 2 with Blake Majulis out front in the 127. Tucker in the 00 back there in second. Drove a great race last night. Now he pressures Majulis for the lead as they head off into 3 and 4. Your front runners working the low side of the speedway. And as I say that, Tommy, Majulis goes up and hits the cushion on turn 4 to complete lap 1.
In the back, and there's a caution out on the racetrack. Looks like that may be Jordan Casey, Shane James, Alex Bergeron involved as well in the 12 machine. We'll have to take back a look and see what happened to Bergeron. Turned around facing the wrong direction.
Jordan Casey, of course, believe, son of dirt late model racer Terry Casey. Terry's Mr. Excitement. He's Kid Excitement, and this was not the excitement he wanted to start the night with. Beating and banging in the dash. Come on, guys, you're all in the show. Let's not bend up those race cars before we get ready for later tonight's main event. Either way, Blake Majula is your leader with a lap in the books.
Lap in the books. I do believe the caution flags will count here, so these caution flags will count. The more laps you run under caution, less your chances of making a run towards the start of the main event. Alex Bergeron, a long way to go here in the dash, but he is guaranteed a spot in the A main event. All he's worried about right now, and he can improve on his 12th place starting spot. Just a couple of laps to go.
Well, we saw guys last night come from like 18th to get into transfer spots. So again, you're in the top 12. This is a 50-lapper. It's going to be a long one tonight. No reason to get out there and be roughing guys up, making enemies before you ever get to the 50-lapper. You don't want to have a feud started before you ever get out there for the main event, and it costs you big money later. Some
pretty clean racing last night. Kendall Tucker, Alex Bergeron probably put on one of the best races of the night. But pretty clean racing overall last night. Very proud of the drivers. Hopefully that'll linger over to tonight as we go through 2 more servers and the 50-lap main event.
All right, well, trying to get them sorted out here, get this one lined back out as, again, Majulis, your leader. He won last night in server number 1. In the second spot, Kendall Tucker. He had him coming at him in every possible groove, and he still put that 0-0 in victory lane in the second server. J.D. Brown, he led last night, the California racer in car number 14, before fading just a little bit. He came home in the 3rd position. He's already up to 3rd after starting 6th in this dash. It looks like we're just about ready to come back to the green flag.
They're racked and stacked, doubled back up. They'll come around to halfway home when they go green right here out of turn number 4. Pace truck pulls in, and they're back on the gas already. Blake Majula still leading down the front straightaway in the turn number 1. It'll be Kendall Tucker right behind him in position number 2. J.D. Brown on the bottom now.
Missouri Shad Prescott goes to work on the cushion out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. He looked at outside of Kendall Tucker. Prescott in that M14. He'll fall back to 3rd as they go 3 wide for 3rd through turns 3 and 4.
Blake Majulis has it hooked up right here on lap number 6. 4 laps remaining. Kendall Tucker closing the gap, working to the bottom. A little bit of contact right there, and he'll slide up in front of Prescott, who dips it down to the bottom now.
Well, now Prescott's going to try the low groove as Kendall Tucker goes up top. We haven't seen much of that so far out of Tucker, and now Tucker, when it turns back down the hill, he's going to try to snare him second spot back away from Shads. Prescott at the line cannot do it, but he will off into 1 and 2. Good battle for second.
Good battle for second. James Eaton's also sneaking in the picture right there behind Chad Prescott. Prescott trying to cross over Tucker once again out of turn number 3 and 4. Tucker going to go back down to the bottom as Blake Majulis running away with it here on lap number 9.
Laps ticking away in this one. Let's don't forget that second position may be the most important one because that's the last guy to get a shot at some bonus money if they forfeit their starting spot. Right now, Shad Prescott holds on to it in the M14. Out front, it's all Blake Majulis.
White flag is in the air this time. One more time around the racetrack for Blake Majulis. And it'll be Shad Prescott holding on to position number 2 down the back straightaway. Kendall Tucker trying to make a move.
Kendall Tucker running out of time as they head off into turns 3 and 4. Blake Majulis way out in front over a second lead. He's going to take the win. Who's going to get second at the line? Drag race back. And it is going to be Shad Prescott from 8th to 2nd. How about the drive for the competitor in car M14? Fantastic job to get that second position. We'll talk to your top 2.
Blake Majulis in the 127 makes it look easy in the dash. He'll try to carry that momentum over to the 50-lap main event later on. We'll see if he'll take that front row challenge or take that clean air that he just had right there and try to run away with that $500 to win $3,200 purse coming up later on tonight.
So again, both your front row starters, Blake Majulis and Shad Prescott, will get the option to take that front row challenge and go to the back of the pack for an extra $100. And looks like we are bringing in now Shad. Shad, will have him in just a second. Blake Majulis be brought up in a second as well. And, well, if you thought guys might take it easy in the dash, we just found out real quick there, Tommy, nobody is going to give an inch, whether it's a dash, a heat, a B-main, or the finale here tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of beating and banging right there. Last chance for these drivers to try to make it into the show, and maybe just the start of things to come in just a little bit.
Well, it looks like Shad has joined us. Shad, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Shad, how about that 8th to 2nd? You wasted a little time in working your way up through the pack and were able to avoid the caution as well. How did the racetrack seem in this dash? Looked a little wet from the announcer's booth. How did it feel in the race car?
I mean, it was really slick in the center. I was kind of surprised that all them guys went there and went to the bottom, and they just left the top wide open, and they got down there and started running into each other and wrecked, and I was able to squeak by.
Well, Shad, right now you're starting second in this main event here tonight, later tonight, 50 laps. What if we offered you a $100 bonus to give that up and go to the back of the pack? Do you have an interest there? $100 if you can win from the back of the pack.
No, I think I'll pass on that. Yeah,
Too many tough competitors. 50 laps is a long time, though. You don't think you could get it done from the back of the pack? Peer pressure right now, Shad. We're giving peer pressure to you.
Oh yeah, there's a lot could happen back there. I mean, it's so hard to pass with fixed sets sometimes. The track position is key.
Tommy, I gave it my best shot, and I just don't think he's having it. You gonna throw maybe a jab at him, see if there's anything?
I honestly do not blame him. It's gonna be pretty wild back there. He's got an excellent starting spot on the outside of the front row. Probably would not want to give that up either.
All right, Chad. Well, buddy, we can't wait to see you in the feature tonight. Good luck. You are going to start outside front row.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so Shad's going to go and get ready for the main event tonight, and we'll bring Blake Majulis in now, the Asheville, New York driver. Well, Blake, still perfect on the weekend now. You won your server last night. You win the dash. You're on the pole. The big question, are you willing for an extra $100 bonus if you can win to give up that pole position and go to 24th on the starting grid?
I'm going to have to pass.
Now, we were told that earlier that you had already said that you would accept it, so we've actually got you 24th. I hope that's not a problem.
I don't know who told you that.
No, we're giving you a hard time, man. I can't blame you. I got to ask you, out of curiosity, because you never know what could happen in the future. It's $500 to win tonight. How much money would it take you to go to the tail as an added possible bonus to win for you to do it?
Oh, man, I don't know. That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. Probably two.
200. That's understandable. Well, last night, as we talked about, great night last night, and you come out in the dash, car stellar again. You know, what do you do now? You've got to watch these next two servers. Do you sit back and watch what everybody else is doing? Do you kind of go do something else to take your mind off of it? What is the game plan for the next few hours as you wait on this 50-lapper to roll around?
I'm going to go eat dinner and just chill out. I ain't going to watch a thing. Just going to run my own race here for the 50-lapper, so...
That's cool, Blake. We'll be working. You go have dinner, buddy. You do what you got to do, and we'll just be over here grinding, trying to make this happen. Well, before we let you go, Blake, tell us about the sponsors and everybody that's helped you be on the pole for this big event tonight.
Oh, yeah, just Swindell Speed Lab, all them guys for the help. iRacing, iFlag, Jeff Brown, Bell Helmets, Wiser Organics, Design 75, Jeremy Ray for the paint, and you guys for broadcasting. Thank you very much.
All right, well, your pole sitter for the inaugural Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway, New York's Blake Majulis. He's going to be on the pole. Tommy, we came swinging at both of them. We tried to even guilt them into maybe giving up those starting spots. I'm like you. We can't blame them for not wanting to sacrifice the prime real estate in this big event.
This is going to be a tough field to try to work your way back through, but we've seen it done throughout the races so far. Drivers coming through from 18th up to position number 5, but that main event's going to be just a little bit tougher for those guys to come through, and the fixed setup, I wouldn't want to take my chances either.
Well, I tell you what else is going to be tough. There are drivers getting set to come out of these other two programs that we've got. So we've got some big-time grinding getting ready to happen in that. Before we do, and I tell you what, I'm going to throw a little kink in here, and we're going to bring Kendall Tucker in. And you know what? I'm going to sit here and we're going to change the script just a little bit. Kendall, you finished third in that dash. You start third in the feature. The guys on the front row, they said Kendall Tucker's too fast. There's no way we're going to the back and letting him have the pole. Is there any chance you would take a $100 possible bonus if you can win from the back row, giving up the third spot? Is that a possibility?
There's no way that would happen. Track position and this is going to be so crucial, man. Maybe if it was an open setup, I would maybe venture out the idea, but just it being fixed setup and 50 laps, it's just not enough time to come up through there.
Tommy, I don't know, buddy. I mean, I tried. I thought I had something there, and
you
shut me down immediately.
You might have had something.
I had nothing there, Kendall. I know I had nothing, but it was worth trying just for the fun of it. But third in the main event tonight, you ran second early in that dash, and that restart didn't seem to do you any favors, having to be on the outside. It seemed like the bottom was really good, and that's where your car needed to be.
Yeah, I mean that race right there was kind of just a free for all. I hate it kind of got like it was, but I mean I was just trying to salvage what I could. I mean if starting third's not going to be that big of a deal. I'd much rather prefer starting on the bottom anyway. So it kind of worked hand in hand. Second or third, it really wouldn't have mattered unless I would have got the win. But once I noticed I wasn't going to outrun Majulis, I kind of just settled in and just salvaged what I could.
All right, well, he's going to start third in the main event tonight. Kendall, good luck to you, and hopefully we're talking to you again later.
Sure, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. So Kendall Tucker will start third, and I believe we may have one more interview in here before we jump out into the server one for the preliminary event tonight. Let's see. Yep, and James Edens joins us now. James finished fourth in the dash. James, you're going to start outside of row number 2 tonight. How do you feel about your chances to get the $500 payday?
We felt good there. I think we started 10th, and, I just missed that run pile up on the bottom, and we got up to 4th. I felt like we had a good car. Track was just fast, and it was hard to pass. So, I think we'll be good for 50 laps. So.
All right. Well, you did a great job last night. Very entertaining to watch. Final thing I want to ask you. I asked the pole sitter, what do you do for the next few hours while these other 2 programs run? He said he's going to go eat. He's not even going to watch this. What do you do while these races are being run?
I'll probably do the same thing. I'll probably just, have the broadcast on, eat some food, just get ready for 50 laps.
All right. Well, James Eden, good luck to you, and we'll talk to you a little bit later.
All right, later.
Boy, these iRacing iFlag cars are fast tonight.
You know, Todd, I guarantee you, Brown, Leonardi, Weaver, Capert, and Pena are all using their products on their sponsor tonight to give them the upper hand over the competition.
Well, how can I get fast like those guys?
Well, that's easy, Todd. You gotta head over to iRacingIFlag.com.
Diesel engine oil has changed, and Schaefer has got you covered. What'd you expect? We've been doing our thing so you can do your thing since 1839. We've helped pioneer friction modifiers, helped pioneer advances in synthetics. We go so far back, we even helped the pioneers. So, new diesel oil standards? Yeah, we got this. Introducing our new SynShield CK4 and FA4 heavy-duty oils, developed by these guys, our guys who know their stuff. They've been burning the midnight oil to bring you these new oil technologies for years. Next-generation oils that deliver like only Schaefer can. Durability blends that take you to extremes and back. OTR formulas that keep you rolling longer for less. More driving, less draining with our Max MPG oil. And an ultra performance oil that lets you put a foot in soot like nobody's business. More miles, greater protection, lower TCO, Schaefer's quality. Yeah, that's the stuff. Diesel engine oil may have changed, but Schaefer, we've been preparing since 1839.
And we're getting ready to go for the largest paid race in iRacing history.
13 different states, 2 different countries.
25 of the best, $3,000 on the line. Driver from Glenbula, Wisconsin, and the D1RT Supermoon graphics. That'll be Dylan Fox. And the pace truck makes that hard left-hand turn, and we are underway with the 12th annual Spring Fling. pick it up side by side for the race lead. Here's Leonardi. He powers up to position number 2 on the outside.
Leonardi's going to throw a slider through turns 1 and 2. Up to the fence. Look out, Vince gets into the wall. Looks like he is upside down, and the caution waits. Heartbreak City. Alex Bergeron from 25th to 10th. We'll keep an eye on car number 12, as now he goes up to 9th.
Dylan Fox, he's just taking it nice and smooth, very easy around the Knoxville Raceway.
Off into turns 3 and 4, final time. The winner of the 12th annual Schaefer's Oil Spring Fling coming to us. It's Dylan Fox in the 999.
Boy, these iRacing iFlag cars are fast tonight.
You know, Todd, I guarantee you, Brown, Leonardi, Weaver, Capert, and Pena are all using them products on their sponsor tonight to give them the upper hand over the competition.
Well, how can I get fast like those guys?
Well, that's easy, Todd. You gotta head over to iRacingIFlag.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here in server number 1 of VLR Star Spangled Showdown, qualifying night number 2. Once again, right around 60 drivers getting set to compete once again to try to earn 6 more spots in tonight's Star Spangled Showdown main event presented by South Texas Speedway. And once again, my name is Tommy Rowe Jr. Up here at the booth. Joining me once again is Mr. Ben Shelton. How you doing, bud?
Doing good, Tommy. Watching these guys getting dialed in for server 1. Taking note of the times. Last night, the fastest time we saw in qualifying was a 17:047, and these guys are in the upper 16 bracket, so we'll be curious if that carries over to qualifying as they get ready for that. But a lot of good drivers not in the show yet. Only 12 guys in. There's 12 spots left, 6 from this server. And then we're going to have 6 more getting in, so it's going to be a lot of entertaining racing, ramping up to that big 50-lapper to wrap up the night.
And you got some who's of names here in server number 1 already. Just scrolling through the list, you'll see guys like Austin Simmelman, Dylan Wilson out there in the field, as well as Tyler Hudson, last 2018 VLR Spring Fling winner. Then you got the guys like Jacob Fields, Terry Gray, Jeremy Ray, Evan C. Just a couple of drivers to name off here in server number 1. A lot of big names here, and we'll have a lot of big names in server number 2 as well. It's a very tough race to make. Only 24 drivers will transfer over to that 50-lap main event.
Yeah, if you make this feature, you have done something, as it is no easy task, as these guys are getting down to the last few moments here of practice, getting ready for qualifying. Dylan Wilson, the top of the leaderboard, 16.885. Fast lap right now. Then Kyle Surratt, TJ Carter, Eric Scaff, and Josh Peacock, your top 5. But again, roughly more than a dozen guys in that 16-second bracket. It'll be interesting to see if that holds up for qualifying.
Yeah, we should be wrapping up practice here in just a moment. We'll turn around to qualifying. We're going to run a complete show as we did last night. We're going to have 5 heat races, right around 8 laps to distance. And the top 2 will transfer over from tonight's heat races. And it looks like we're going to have a D and a C and a B main as well. We did have 3 last chance qualifiers last night. Not sure how the server is set up for tonight, though.
We'll find out as we get things along. And again, racetrack looking really fast. We saw that dash already just run. And of course, Blake Majulis on the pole for tonight's main event. Shad Prescott's going to be joining him on the front row from 8th to 2nd in that dash. But guys were not pulling any punches. It was wide open in a race where everybody's already locked into the feature. So I'm sure these races are going to be full of intensity, as it looks like we are now advancing to qualifying. And again, qualifying is going to set the heat race lineups here tonight. And we'll be taking the top 3 out of each heat race. And glancing down the line, looks like unofficially 5 heat races in this one, but we'll see as the heat race lineups get populated. But again, no invert. The way you qualify is the way you line up for your heats. We're going to have 8 lap heats, and then we'll transfer. It says 2 on there. I think we were taking 3 last night. We'll get confirmation on that, but it looks like 8 lap heats with a couple. So getting set to get things underway here in qualifying at Volusia Speedway Park. So it is top 2. Top 2 out of these will move off to the preliminary feature. Got confirmation on that. So 8 lap heats, top 2 will transfer, and that's going to make it interesting.
All right, looks like everybody is disconnecting from this server, so I do believe we may have to go to a separate server, and we'll have to take just a moment and switch over to that, and we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Boy, these iRacing iFlag cars are fast tonight.
You know, Todd, I guarantee you, Brown, Leonardi, Weaver, Capert, and Pena are all using their products on their sponsor tonight to give them the upper hand over the competition.
Well, how can I get fast like those guys?
Well, that's easy, Todd. You gotta head over to iRacingIFlag.com.
Diesel engine oil has changed, and Schaefer has got you covered. What'd you expect? We've been doing our thing so you can do your thing since 1839. We've helped pioneer friction modifiers, helped pioneer advances in synthetics. We go so far back, we even helped the pioneers. So, new diesel oil standards? Yeah, we got this. Introducing our new SynShield CK4 and FA4 heavy-duty oils, developed by these guys, our guys who know their stuff. They've been burning the midnight oil to bring you these new oil technologies for years. Next-generation oils that deliver like only Schaefer can. Durability blends that take you to extremes and back. OTR formulas that keep you rolling longer for less. More driving, less draining with our Max MPG oil. And an ultra performance oil that lets you put a foot in soot like nobody's business. More miles, greater protection, lower TCO, Schaefer's quality. Yeah, that's the stuff. Diesel engine oil may have changed, but Schaefer, we've been preparing since 1839.
And we're getting ready to go for the largest paid race in iRacing history.
13 different states, 2 different countries.
25 of the best, $3,000 on the line. Driver from Glenbleau, Wisconsin, and the D1RT Supermoon graphics. That'll be Dylan Fox. And the pace truck makes that hard left-hand turn, and we are underway with the 12th annual Spring Fling. Business is picking up side by side for the race lead. It's Leonardi. He powers up to position number 2 on the outside.
Zach Leonardi's going to throw a slider through turns 1 and 2. Up to the fence. Look out, Vince gets into the wall. Looks like he is upside down, and the caution waits. Heartbreak City. Alex Bergeron from 25th to 10th. We'll keep an eye on car number 12, as now he goes up to 9th.
Dylan Fox, he's just taking it nice and smooth, very easy around the Knoxville Raceway.
Off into turns 3 and 4, final time. The winner of the 12th annual Schaefer's Oil Spring Fling coming to us. It's Dylan Fox in the 999.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here on the TeamVLR.com Facebook page for server number 1. And the correct server now, my name is Tommy Root up here in the booth. We are live in server number 1 for the Star Spangled Showdown. And I've got Mr. Ben Shelton up here in the booth with us. Once again, Ben, how are you doing, bud?
Yeah, doing good. Watching these guys get dialed in and getting ready for qualifying here on server number 1. Again, these guys in the 16-second bracket. We had a little bit of a glitch there, got things rebooted, but the one thing that stayed the same is Dylan Wilson at the top of the leaderboard. Evan C., Grant Riles, that's your top 3 in practice. As we approach qualifying, we'll see if that translates over to their qualifying times.
Practice is wrapping up here, getting set to switch over to qualifying right now. Once again, right around 41 drivers signed in here in server number 1. We're going to have scheduled for 6 heat races, 8 laps to distance. I'll take the top 2 from each one of those heat races, and that'll leave 3 last chance qualifiers, who I do believe we may take the top 3 from each one of those to give us a 24 car starting field for looking for 6 spots.
Drivers starting to make their way out to the Speedway. It looks like we are going to end up with 6 heat races on this set, so if we take 2 out of each one, assuming they go with 3 B mains, I think we'll have the top 4 out of those. We'll get confirmation on that, though, as they switched it up a little bit last night. Of course, Tommy, server 1, we had 5 heats, and so that made things a little bit different on the number of transfers. Looks like tonight we're going to have 6 heats in this set, as right now drivers are coming out. Seeing a few guys maybe for the first time this week. Blake Cannon, one of the first qualifiers that will be coming out, and a few other drivers coming in on the tail end of this deal, trying to race their way into the Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway.
Yeah, you already got Damon Cardwell in the 07 machine already on the pole right now. Austin Simbelman second on top of the leaderboards with a 17.489. So time's dwindling down about a half second slower than these guys were in practice. Still waiting for the still waiting for the likes of Dylan Wilson, the fastest in practice, to turn a quick time.
Times are a little bit slower, about 0.3 slower than what we saw before. Tyler Hudson, first time we've seen him this week. He's in the top 10 currently in qualifying as Jacob Fields goes to the top of the leaderboard, a 17.390.
Quick time for Jacob Fields right now, about 0.6 quicker than Evan C. with a 17.447, who sits in position number 2. That's still Davin Cardwell, Austin Semmelman, Clay Devin, your top 5. Not going to pronounce position number 6. I already done forgot how to pronounce that. McCullencheck, that's right.
It's all good until he's battling for position and you're trying to get it out really quick. And then it gets kind of challenging. So, well, it looks like qualifying wrapping up. Jacob Fields, 17.390. That's going to be your fast qualifier. So great job by Fields. He's going to be on the pole for heat race at number 1, the Columbus, Indiana driver, as they're coming to the grid now. And Tommy, give us the lineup for heat race number 1 as they start to make their way out.
All right, heat race number 1 on the inside in that 007 machine. That'll be Jacob Fields into his outside in the 84. That'll be Clay Devin. Row number 2 on the inside in the TVLR machine. That'll be TJ Carter to his outside in the 31. That'll be Mike Crown. Jeremy Ray, he'll be scheduled to start on the inside of row number 3 in that 75 machine. And to his outside in the 63, that'll be Clifford Driscoll. Row number 4 on the inside in the 10 machine here tonight. That'll be Skylar Brown to his outside in the 56. That'll be Brad Dyer. Row number 5 on the inside, the 96 machine. That'll be Wes Kirchner to his outside. That'll be Dylan Wilson. Dylan Wilson not making a qualifying time. He'll start tail end of this heat race and scheduled to start shotgun on the field in the 118 machine. That'll be Peter Coberly.
Well, he's going to have to try and do the Shane James approach where you struggle in qualifying or you miss qualifying. You got to pass a lot of cars. It worked for Shane last night. He raced his way into a 5th place finish, was in the dash earlier. He's in the big show later tonight. We're going to keep an eye on Dylan Wilson. Tough break for that driver as we get set to go 8 laps. Top 2 move on to the 35-lap prelim coming up later this evening as the pace truck's going to take him around one more time. And as we've talked about both nights now, Tommy, just a ton of talent in this field. Jacob Fields, Clay Devin on the front row. Will be interesting to see this racetrack early on where these guys find these cars to handle the best.
A ton of talent in the fields throughout both servers on each night. These drivers run a lot of laps too. We'll see how much fatigue comes into play later on tonight as well, especially that 50-lap main event as these drivers turn in somewhere around, couple of hundred laps here between the 2 nights. But it'll be Jacob Fields, Clay Devin set to lead him back to the green this time. Once again, 8 laps to distance, the first of 6 heat races. Actually, 4 heat races here in server number 1.
Pace truck's going to pull to the infield, and we go green off of turn number 4, and it's going to be Jacob Fields shot out of a cannon, the 007 off into the lead. Devin's back there in the 2nd spot, now digging hard on the bottom side. Here comes TJ Carter up to 3rd.
TJ Carter looking on the inside for position number 2. Once again, top 2 drivers transfer. So Clay Devin on the bubble right now, but TJ Carter on the inside wants it. They go down into turn number 1 and 2. It'll be TJ Carter with a big run down the back straightaway.
TJ Carter jumps up to 2nd now. Clay Devin on the outside looking in. He'll look back to the inside of TJ Carter through turns 3 and 4. Meanwhile, tiptoeing to the outside, Mike Cron in car number 31 on the move. Good battle for that 2nd and final transfer spot. TJ Carter's got it, but a ton of company right there with him.
Good battle already here in heat race number 1. Jacob Fields running away with it, but it's Clay Devin, TJ Carter putting on a show for position number 2. Mike Crown, Clifford Driscoll waiting in the wings, hoping one of these guys will make a mistake as TJ Carter tries to pull away now.
3 laps down, 5 laps to go, and Jacob Fields with that 0.8 of a second advantage over TJ Carter. Carter hold on to that 2nd spot. Clay Devin trying to get a run on him. Mike Cron, Clifford Driscoll, Dylan Wilson all working in the shadows. Dylan Wilson now from 10th to 6th as he continues to try to work his way forward.
Dylan Wilson now up into the top 5 with a move on Skylar Brown, and Clifford Driscoll make that position number 4 with his eyes set on Clay Devin now. Dylan Wilson from 10th to 4th. 2 more positions to try to transfer into tonight's main event from heat race number 1.
That number 80 car is rolling forward as he now sets his sights on Clay Devon for position number 3. TJ Carter firmly in the second spot. Jacob Field out for a Sunday drive. 1.1 seconds the advantage. Just 2 laps to go of his time off turn number 4 for Jacob Fields, the Columbus, Indiana native.
Jacob Fields running away with it. A second is the distance between him and TJ Carter. TJ Carter with another half a second between him and Clay Devon, holding on to the second and final transfer spot pretty comfortably as Clay Devon getting his hands full with Dylan Wilson back there for position number 3. Great drive for Dylan Wilson as these drivers work the white flag lap.
White flag flies one more time around the speedway, and Jacob Fields just has to keep his nose clean as he works out a 2 through the dog leg down the back straightaway. Now a 1.3 second advantage over TJ Carter. Final time through turns 3 and 4, Tommy.
Jacob Fields comes out of turn number 4, takes home the win here in heat race number 1 pretty easily. TJ Carter will be your second and final transfer spot. Great drive from Dylan Wilson as he's able to take home position number 3 after starting 10th. He'll have a great starting position in one of tonight's last chance qualifiers.
So Jacob Fields takes the win for the Hoosier State. Columbus, Indiana driver picks up the win in heat race 1. Heat race number 2 making its way to the grid. And once again, it's going to be 8 laps the distance. Top 2 will move on.
All right, once again, 11 drivers set to take the grid here in heat race number 2. We'll go ahead and read out the starting lineup, starting on the front row on the inside. And that Team VLR machine in the number 33 out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. That'll be Evan C. To his outside, in the 99 machine, that'll be Marcus McCullochek. Johnson, Corpus Christi, Texas driver. Row number 2 on the inside, and that's 01 machine. That'll be Tyler Hudson to his outside in the 24, competing for the best paint scheme, I do believe, here tonight. That'll be Daniel Cummins Jr. Road number 3 on the inside, in the 92, that'll be Shane Evans to his outside in the 911. That'll be Andy Jones. And row number 4 on the inside in the 156 machine. That'll be Mike Molnar to his outside in the 55. That'll be Austin Moore. And row number 5 on the inside, the 26. And the very patriotic machine, that'll be Eric Scalp. And shotgun on the field in that 101 machine, that'll be Josh Helms. Those will be your 11 drivers here in heat race number 2. Blake Cannon in the 44, not making the call.
Evan C., Marcus McCullochek, your front row. So it'll be South Carolina and Texas here in heat race number 2, getting set to come to the green flag next time by, as again, 4 heat races, top 2 out of each one of these moving off to the main event. Everybody else will be in one of these last chance showdowns to fill out the field. 12 drivers already locked in for later tonight, the 500 to win finale. And as we talked about earlier, Blake Majulis, the Asheville, New York driver, picking up the win in that one. The winner from Server 1 last night led all 10 laps to earn the pole, and he'll be joined by Shad Prescott, the Missouri racer, on the front row. But right now, it's Server 1 preliminary action, Heat 2, and we should come to the green flag out of turn number 4.
Truck gets set to pull that hard left-hand turn into the pit area. Evan C. already on the gas, and we are green down the front straightaway to be Evan C. Lead him down into turn number 1, Tyler Hudson. New driver here tonight, trying to lead him down into position number 2, side by side with McCullochek down the back straightaway.
Of course, Tyler Hudson, a former Spring Fling winners. We've got caution on the speedway.
Caution on the speedway. It looks like that may be Mike Molnar, who's upside down on the back straightaway. Looks like Andy Jones in the 911 machine maybe have been involved as well. We'll go back and take a look at it. Oh, big contact right there. Andy Jones getting into it with Shane Evans. Mike Molnar with nowhere to go, and he finds himself upside down after the contact.
Well, hard racing early in this one, and again, caution laps count in the heat races. So 8 laps, only the distance in these heats, caution laps count. So that means you can't afford, if you're deep in the pack, to suffer many caution laps, or you're not going to get a chance to make up any ground. It's going to be a single file restart. So single file restarts with Evan C. out in front, the Spartanburg, South Carolina driver in car 33.
Tyler Hudson holding on to position number 2. That's McCullochek, Daniel Cummings Jr., Andy Jones, your top 5 right now. And I do believe we may pace around the racetrack one more time before we turn them loose. I do believe we'll go green maybe next time out of turn number 4, so we'll be just about halfway home when we go back green.
Well, Tyler Hudson, one of those hard chargers, always a contender when he shows up in any of these leagues, any of these divisions. And as we said, a former Spring Fling winner. Right now, he sits in the 2nd spot after starting 3rd. And Andy Jones, the driver, penalized for that caution, so he gets the end-of-line penalty. Tough break for the driver in car 911.
We'll get set to go green next time out of turn number 4. Hanover record service caution here in heat race number 1. So we get set to go back green. It'll be Evan C. leading back to the green. We're in heat race number 2, already getting behind here. Tyler Hudson, Marcus McCullencheck set to lead him back. Top 3 drivers.
All right, we'll look for the pace truck to make his way to the infield. We'll be halfway home this time out of turn number 4, back at the line. This time by the line. There'll be 4 laps in the books, 4 to go. Top 2 move off to the main event. Heat race number 2 of 4 in Server 1 here tonight. The Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. Here on Team VLR at Volusia Speedway Park as green flag flies, and Evan C. takes them through turns 1 and 2.
Evan C. down the back straightaway, then still Hudson. McCullencheck right there knocking on the back bumper of Hudson. McCullencheck, he'll take it to the outside of the racetrack. They'll make it 3 wide for position number 3 as McCullencheck pulls away. And now he gets to run on Tyler Hudson into turn number 1 and 2.
Your top 3 all head to the low side down in turns 1 and 2. McCullencheck got a good run on the top last time through turns 3 and 4. We'll see where he takes that 99 car this time. Can he get by Tyler Hudson? McCullencheck's going to go to work on the cushion. Can he get around the top side of his half-mile oval, trying to get into a transfer spot? 2 laps to go.
McCullencheck with a great run out of turn number 4 with a head of steam down the front straightaway. Tyler Hudson just slams the door on him as they go into turn number 1 and 2. McCullencheck, he's going to take it to the outside of the racetrack once again and trying to get that big run. We'll see if he can hold on to it this time.
McCullencheck's got 1 lap to figure it out as the white flag waves. Final time around the speedway. Evan C. leads the way. Tyler Hudson on the hot seat, that second and final transfer spot. Here comes McCullencheck, final time off into turns 3 and 4.
Final time for Mike McCullencheck in that 99 machine on the outside of the racetrack. He'll try to hold on to it, and he comes to the line. It'll be Tyler Hudson holding on to the second and final transfer spot. Great drive from Mike McCullencheck right there. Gave it all he had on the final lap.
Hudson by 0.05 of a second for that second and final transfer spot. McCullencheck and everybody else heads off to last chance showdown action. Meanwhile, Evan C. picks up the win, the Spartanburg, South Carolina driver in car 33, as we now get set for heat race 3 of 4, making its way to the grid.
All right, heat race number 3 coming out onto the racetrack right now. Once again, 11 drivers set to take the grid. And starting on the front row on the inside in that 07 machine, he comes to us out of Knoxville, Tennessee. That'll be Davin Cardwell. And to his outside in the 18, that'll be Kyle Surratt. Row number 2 on the inside in the 16 machine, that'll be Grant Riles. To his outside in the 57, that'll be Dustin Hall. Row number 3 on the inside in the 47, that'll be Laurel Havens. To his outside in the 68 machine, that'll be Darren Littrell. Row number 4 will see the inside. That'll be Zachary DeLong in the 93 machine. To his outside, the 45's Cole Lonergan. Adam Lichty, he'll be in the inside of row number 5 in that 018 machine. To his outside in the 61, that'll be Adam Peacock. And shotgun on the field, all back there by himself in car number 4. That'll be Greg Perkins. Once again, 11 drivers here in heat race number 3. 8 laps the distance. Top 2 transfer over to sub-feature number 1.
Heat race 3 of 4, 1 more heat after this one, then we're going to go into last chance showdown action as we'll fill out the field here in the preliminary server number 1 on night number 2. Again, the top 6 out of tonight's feature will move off to the 50-lap main event. Then we'll have 1 more preliminary feature for the other half of the field coming up after this, and we'll take the top 6 out of that 35-lap prelim off to the main event. That'll give us 24 cars, 50 laps, $3,000 plus in total prize money. As pace truck should pull to the infield this time out of turn 4. Davin Cardwell, Kyle Surratt, your front row for heat race 3. 8 laps the distance, top 2 to the main event. We're looking for the green flag, Tommy.
Davin Cardwell hard on the gas out of turn number 4. He'll lead him down into turn number 1 and 2. Side by side for position number 2. Surratt on the outside. Here comes Grant Riles on the inside as Dustin Hall tries to split the middle. They'll make it a 3-car dance into turn number 3.
Great battle for that second spot right now. Surratt's got him. He's got a ton of company. As lap number 1 will go to Davin Cardwell, the Knoxville, Tennessee driver, holding on to second. Now Grant Riles. Surratt trying to find his way back up in position number 2.
Surratt takes it to the top of the racetrack. Dustin Hall on the bottom of their side by side for position number 3. Hoping to single file it out and try to run down Grant Riles for position number 2 as they come around to complete lap number 2.
Right now, Davin Cardwell on cruise control out front. He's got about a car length to 2 car length advantage, but it's Surratt coming back after Grant Riles. Riles holds on to that second and final transfer, but he has got company. Good battle right now as they run side by side off turn 4.
Kyle Surratt's found something on the bottom of the racetrack down into turn number 1 and 2. He'll go try to pull alongside Grant Rawls, and I say that we have a caution.
It's going to be for Adam Lighty, perhaps, as he and I believe Cole Lonergan got together back of the pack exiting turns 3 and 4, and that's going to draw the caution with 3 laps complete. 3 laps in the books, 5 to go, and Davin Cardwell leads the way with Grant Riles in second.
Looks like the 61 of Josh Peacock got in a little too hot and heavy. Maybe tapped a little bit Cole Lonergan, and Adam Lighty nowhere to go. Gets involved as well. Peacock in that 61 machine, just a little hot and heavy going down the back straightaway.
A tough break for those drivers as we come around to complete lap number 4. Actually make that lap number 5 completed. So we're only going to have a couple of laps left when this one goes back green. So for Kyle Surratt, Dustin Hall, Darren Literal, it's going to be time to go. They're going to have minimal time to get in out of this heat, or they're going to have to head off to one of those last chance showdowns.
Maybe possibly looking at a 1-lap shootout here. Maybe a 2-lap shootout. I do believe we're probably going to go around the racetrack one more time before we turn them back loose. So we'll probably be looking at a 1-lap shootout. Kyle Surratt running out of time here in heat race number 3. One more heat race set to come up after this one.
Grant Riles rides in that second spot, the Tampa, Florida driver. And he's holding the final transfer spot. Kyle Surratt trying to wrestle it away from him, and Dustin Hall lurking in the shadows. Davin Cardwell has been large and in charge since the drop of the green flag in this one, and he is going to have a couple of laps to get it done as we come around. And tell you what, Tommy, it may be a 1-lap shootout because it's like we're going to take them around one more time. So, yeah, I think we're going to see the green and the white flag coming out together, and that's going to make it that much more interesting.
They're going to rack them and stack them, double them back up into turn number 1 and 2. They're going to go double file, 1-lap shootout. Josh Peacock in the 61 machine. The man, because of the caution, he'll receive the end of the line penalty. Tough break as we'll have a 1-lap shootout. It'll be Davin Cardwell, Grant Riles on the front row, set to lead them back to the green.
All right, well, we'll see if everybody plays nice for 1 lap around this half-mile oval as the pace truck pulls to the infield out of turn at number 4. Heat race number 3 comes back to the green flag. Davin Cardwell throttles it up, and he's going to get a good jump heading off into turns 1 and 2. Keep an eye on that battle for second.
White flag is out. Kyle Surratt, he'll work the bottom of the racetrack, pull ahead of Grant Riles down the back straightaway. It's going to be a battle for position number 2. Riles on the top, Surratt on the bottom. And who's it going to be out of turn number 4? Give it to Grant Riles with a run out of turn number 4.
What a fantastic finish. Knoxville, Tennessee's Davin Cardwell takes the win, but Grant Riles had to charge back and take that final transfer spot. So the Tampa, Florida driver moves off to the main event as we get set for heat number 4. And that one was a dandy, Tommy. You can't ask for any more than we saw in that finish.
That was a great finish right there. Grant Riles working up the top of the racetrack and make something happen, kept his momentum up, and found a way around Kyle Surratt for the second and final transfer spot to make it into sub-feature number 1. And we're on our final heat race, and right now 9 more drivers set to come out the racetrack. All right, heat race number 4 gritting up right now, starting on the front row on the inside in that 18 machine. That'll be Austin Simmelman into his outside in the 12. That'll be Marcus Mays. Row number 2 on the inside in the 75. That'll be Benji Killian to his outside in the 40. That'll be William Dahl. Lucas Chowning, he'll be in the inside of row number 3 in that 044 machine into his outside. That'll be the X-Man, Terry Gray, on the outside of row number 3. And row number 4 on the inside in the 0112 machine. In the 12 machine, that'll be Chadron Beam into his outside in the 7. That'll be Alex Holbert. And shotgun on the field all back there by himself in the 29. That'll be Chris Malone here at heat race number 4.
Austin Simmelman, Marcus Mays, your front row. 2 more drivers move on after this. We'll get set for last chance showdown action. So that'll be coming up after this. We'll go straight into those. As we had a fantastic, almost photo finish for that final transfer spot in the last one. And we'll get set to go green this time by, well, we'll see, may take them one more time.
I believe they may take them around one more time, quite possibly. Austin Simmelman, Marcus Mays, your front row back there. Benji Killian, William Dahl back there, the inside, outside of row number 2. One more time around the racetrack for these guys. We'll go green next time out of turn number 4. It'll be Austin Simmelman, Marcus Mays, your front row here in the 4th and final heat race. Once again, 3 last chance qualifiers coming up right after this. And we'll have our first of two 35-lap sub features where we'll take the top 6 drivers from each one of those, and that'll make up your 24-car starting field in tonight's Star Spangled Showdown presented by the South Texas Speedway.
All right, so getting set to come to green out of turn number 4 here in heat race number 4 at Volusia Speedway Park. 4th and final heat race in server 1 for the Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. Green flag, and we are underway with Silverman taking the whole shot off into turns 1 and 2. Marcus Mays in second, and it's 3 wide for the third spot out of 2 down the backstretch.
Good race for position number 3. Also a good race for the lead Marcus Mays. He's going to take it down to the bottom of the racetrack to make a challenge on Austin Simmelman. Simmelman will pull away down the front into turn number 1 and 2.
Simmelman, your leader's got company though. Mays right there tracking him as they work out of 2 down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, back in the third spot, it's William Dahl making the move up into that spot, trying to reel in your top 2 cars. We complete lap 2 off of turn 4.
Austin Simmelman working the top of the racetrack out of turn number 4, making it work masterfully right now. Top 2 drivers running away as the 3rd, 4th, and 5th back there going about 3 wide right now. William Dahl, Lucas Chowning, Terry Gray all involved in that little bit of a battle as William Dahl. He'll power up to position number 3 and now try to run down Marcus Mays.
Marcus Mays changes his groove. He'll head to the cushion out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. And now William Dahl's got his hands full. Here comes Lucas Chowning. We come around out of turn 4. 4 down, 4 to go. And that battle for the second spot is getting tighter and tighter. Mays has got it, but he's got company.
William Dahl working the top of the racetrack as well as Lucas Chowning on the bottom side by side for position number 3. Yet these guys are still make good ground on your second and final transfer spot, coming around with 3 laps to go next time.
3 cars going after 1 spot. Hang on to it. Chowning with a slider, and William Dahl not going to be friends with Chowning for a little bit after that one. As now it's going to be Lucas Chowning up into 3rd. Can he get to the number 12 of Marcus Mays for the final transfer? This time out of 4. There'll be 2 laps to go for your leader, who has an 0.8 of a second advantage over Marcus Mays. It's at Austin Simmelman out front.
Austin Simmelman checking out. Next man, he throws that big slider on William Dahl right now. Dahl probably a little frustrated as they work down the back straightaway. Nonetheless, Marcus Mays, Lucas Chowning positions 2nd and 3rd right now. Chowning, he'll try to dive it down the bottom of the racetrack and close some ground on your 2nd place Marcus Mays as the white flag's in the air.
White flag in there one more time around the speedway for Brookfield, Wisconsin. It's Austin Simmelman in car 43. Marcus Mays on the cushion. He's got Lucas Chowning to his inside. That's the battle for the final transfer spot. Final time off into turns 3 and 4.
Well, final time around the racetrack, it'll be Marcus Mays holding on to position number 2 as Lucas Chowning. He'll sit back there in position number 3. Terry Gray, Benji Killian, your top 5 here in the 4th and final heat race.
Picking up the win out of Brookfield, Wisconsin, Austin Simmelman in the 43 as we get set now for last chance showdown action as we continue moving along. And for some of these guys, this is their last chance to keep their event alive. Last night they didn't get in. Tonight they've struggled, and now they find themselves in a last chance showdown as we get set to go with this one. 15 laps the distance, Tommy. Top 8 are going to move on.
Only 2 last chance showdowns here in server number 1. 15 laps, top 8 will transfer. A little bit easier than last night. They had a couple of last chance showdowns where they only took the top 2 and 3. So these drivers are going to have a little bit better shot at making sub-feature number 1 here in the last chance qualifiers. But nonetheless, starting on the front row on the inside here in last chance qualifier number 1 in that 80 machine, that'll be Dylan Wilson, and to his outside in the 18, it'll be Kyle Surratt. Road number 2 on the inside, in the 84, that'll be Clay Devin, and to his outside, in the 57, that'll be Dustin Hall. Road number 3 on the inside, in that 10 machine, that'll be Skylar Brown, to his outside, in the 68, that'll be Darren Littrell. Road number 4 on the inside, will see the 63 of Clifford Driscoll, and to his outside, in the 93, that'll be Zachary DeLong. Road number 5 scheduled to start on the inside, the 31, that'll be Mike Crown, to his outside, in the 47, that'll be Laurel Havens. Jeremy Ray, he'll be scheduled to start on the inside of road number 6, to his outside in the 4 machine. That'll be Greg Perkins. Wes Kirchner, he'll start on the inside of row number 7 in the 96, and to his outside in the 45. That'll be Cole Lonergan. Row number 8 on the inside, the 56. That'll be Brad Dyer. To his outside, the 61. That'll be Josh Peacock. And your 9th and final row here in the last chance qualifier, number 1 in that 118 machine, that'll be Peter Cobberly. And to his outside in the 018 machine, that'll be Adam Lichty. Those will be your 18 drivers here in last chance qualifier number 1. And once again, the top 8 drivers will transfer over to sub-feature number 1 for a chance at 6 starting spots in tonight's Star Spangled Showdown, presented by the South Texas Speedway.
Well, a bit different mindset for these guys. It's the last chance showdown they want to get in, but as opposed to last night where only 3 moved on because we only have 2 last chance showdowns, the top 8 go on to the main event. So guys have got to keep their head on their shoulders, not get too aggressive, because if you're in the top 8, you move on. Green flag is out. We're underway. And this 15-lapper is once again the top 8 move to the back of prelim feature number 1 here tonight.
Dylan Wilson on the gas pretty fast down the front straight. He'll lead him down the back. 3 wide right behind him as Wilson tries to run away with it early here in last chance qualifier number 1. It'll be Dustin Hall, Clay Devin, Kyle Surratt, 3 wide back there for position 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Dustin Hall making a great 3-wide move to go from 4th to 2nd down the back straightaway. He works down the back straightaway. He's got Clay Devin in tow, Kyle Surratt in the 4th spot. Meanwhile, Dylan Wilson, who, as we talked about, was fastest in hot laps, did not come out for qualifying. It's on the back of his heat, missed the transfer by a spot. He is building a solid lead early in this one, 0.6 of a second over Dustin Hall, as Hall works the cushion off of 2 down the backstretch.
Watching this battle back here, 7th, 8th, and 9th. 8th is the cutoff here in last chance qualifier right now. Greg Perkins in that 4 machine, he's the man on the bubble at the moment as they're beating and banging back here. As Jeremy Ray still working the bottom of the racetrack, he's on the outside looking in, as well as the 96 of Wes Kirchner.
Wes Kirchner runs right now in the 9th position in that 96 car, trying to make up ground on Greg Perkins, the 4 car out of Memphis, Tennessee, who rides in that final transfer position. Right in front of Perkins, you got Laurel Havens and Clifford Driscoll. Good 2 and 3 wide racing around this oval as we work lap number 5.
Dylan Wilson running away with it here in last chance qualifier number 1. Almost a second lead now over the 57 of Dustin Hall, sits in 2nd. There's Clay Devin, Kyle Surratt, Skylar Brown right now your top 5 drivers. Then you go back here right behind him. They're 3 wide for 6th, 7th, and 8th as Greg Perkins tried to split the middle.
Kyle Surratt's going to go to work on Clay Devin. Big slider through turns 3 and 4. That's for position number 3. We'll see if Surratt can take it at the line. And it will be indeed Kyle Surratt up to 3rd. Clay Devin back to 4th as Skylar Brown, who rides in 5th, moves in on that battle. All those drivers are in the prelim feature, but they are racing for their starting spot. And again, they know in the 35-lapper later tonight, they have to get into the top 6 to move off to the finale that pays $500 to win later tonight.
Skylar Brown, he's going to try to slide up alongside the 84 of Clay Devin. Now Skylar Brown back in position number 5. Devin holding on to 4th. As they cover around, they'll see lap number 8 complete. It'll be 7 laps to go here in last chance qualifier number 1.
And it is a hornet's nest back there for that final transfer spot right now as Perkins holds on to it. Wes Kirchner right there with him. Darren Literal, Jeremy Ray in the fold as well. We got a spinner, and that is going to be Wes Kirchner. He was 1 spot out of the transfer, and now he is several spots out of the transfer as your 9th place runner gets crossed up over in turn number 2.
Looks like Wes Kirchner may have made some contact right there with the 47. That looks like it may have been Laurel Havens. Havens running comfortably in the transfer spot. A little bit of contact right there with Kirchner as those guys were all right there together, and that'll take Kirchner back to position number 15 and have to retag the rear of the field and try to work his way back up. He'll have 7 spots to try to pass as they'll have only about 2 or 3 laps to go when we go back to green.
Yellow flag laps do count, as you indicated. They come around and complete lap number 10, so 5 laps officially left in this one. Dylan Wilson, Dustin Hall, Kyle Surratt, Clay Devin, Skylar Brown, Clifford Driscoll, Greg Perkins, and now Jeremy Ray. That is your top 8 cars that move on as they run right now. Laurel Havens, Darren Literal, and Adam Leichty, Cole Lonergan, and Peter Kuberly outside looking in, and they've got minimal time to try to get in those top 8 spots.
And keep in mind, race fans, if the caution flag comes out before the white flag is thrown, they do have a green-white checkered, as we found out last night in one of these B mains. But nonetheless, Dylan Wilson's going to try to pick up where he left off. I do believe the next time out of turn number 4 as they re-rack him, restack him. 80 machine of Dylan Wilson, the 57 of Dustin Hall, set to lead him back to the green.
Well, Wes Kirchner, who spun around up in turn number 2, it was deemed he did that all on his own, so he gets the end-of-line penalty, as we should see the pace truck pull to the infield out of turn number 4. That will leave us with a 3-lap shootout to the checkers. Top 8 move on. Everybody else, well, they're going to be watching the rest of the night with you and I, because they are going to be done for the event. Only 8 move on, and it's Dylan Wilson. He's out front with Dustin Hall in second.
Dylan Wilson, Dustin Hall set to lead him back to the green. It'll be 3 laps to go here in last chance qualifier number 1. One more LCQ coming up right after this one, but we still got 3 laps to settle in this one, and we are back under green. Top 8 drivers will transfer from this one.
Wilson takes him off into 1 and 2. Dustin Hall goes to work on the cushion. Meanwhile, Kyle Surratt right around the hub in 3rd, 2 by 2 back through the pack. Again, Jeremy Ray in that final transfer spot as he and Greg Perkins, 2 buddies, go at it for 7th and 8th. A couple of laps left to go as Dylan Wilson flashes past the flag stand.
Looks like J-Ray may have made a little contact right there with a 63 of Clifford Driscoll, and that allows the 68 of Darren Littrell to pull alongside him. As they come around, they'll see the white flag this time. They're side by side for the 8th and final transfer spot.
Dylan Wilson out in front. He's got about a car length advantage over Dustin Hall as the white flag is displayed. It's been Wilson since the drop of the green. He's got company, though. Here comes Dustin Hall on the top side. Now Wilson will pull away from him down the backstretch.
Down in turn number 3 and 4 for the final time. It'll be the 80 machine of Dylan Wilson taking home the win here in last chance qualifier number 1. As coming out of turn number 4, it'll be Jeremy Ray with an 8th and final transfer spot here in last chance qualifier number 1.
So your 8 transfer cars will be your winner, Dylan Wilson, then Dustin Hall. And we'll try to jump back to that one as it pulled it right out from underneath. There we go. Dylan Wilson, Kyle Surratt, Clay Devin, Dustin Hall. If I can get it one more time. There we go. Dustin Hall, Kyle Surratt, Clay Devin, Skylar Brown, Clifford Driscoll, Greg Perkins, and Jeremy Ray, your 8th and final transfer as your 2nd and final last chance showdown lining up on the Speedway.
All right, one more LCQ coming out on the racetrack right now. Once again, right around 17 drivers set to take the grid here in LCQ number 2. Make that 16 because we do have a couple of admins here in LCQ number 2, but starting on the front row on the inside, and that 99 machine, that'll be Marcus McCullenchak, and to his outside in the 044, that'll be Lucas Chowning. Austin Moore, he'll be on the inside of row number 2, to his outside in the X-Man machine, that'll be Terry Gray. Row number 3 on the inside, the 24, that'll be Daniel Cummings Jr., and to his outside in the 75, that'll be Benji Killian. Row number 4 on the inside, in the 92, that'll be Shane Evans, and to his outside in the 40, that'll be William Dahl. Row number 5 on the inside, we'll see the 101 of Josh Helms, and to his outside in the 29, that'll be Chris Malone. Row number 6 on the inside, in the 26 machine, that'll be Eric Scalf, and to his outside in the 012, in the 12 machine, that'll be Adrian Beam. Row number 7 on the inside, the 156 machine will be Mike Molnar, to his outside in the 7 be Adam Holbert. And row number 8 on the inside, and the 911 machine, that'll be Andy Jones. And to his outside in the 44, driver to keep your eye out on here in last chance qualifier number 2, that'll be Blake Cannon. Those will be your 16 drivers here in last chance qualifier number 2 for server number 1. As once again the top 8 drivers will transfer to the main event. We'll take the top 6. We'll make it to the main event of tonight's Star Spangled Showdown presented by the South Texas Speedway.
So to set the stage, coming up after this one, after this, we'll get ready for the 35-lap prelim feature, and then we'll take the top 6 out of that one. Then we'll go to server 2 for that prelim show, and the top 6 out of that 35-lap prelim feature will lock into the finale. And then last but not least, we'll run the 50-lapper, and then you can watch the late show, as it's going to be a busy night here tonight as we continue on with a lot of great racing during the Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. And again, I want to thank everybody supporting this great event. And of course, Hanover Record Service sponsoring the cautions. They've been busy so far tonight. We'll see how this one shakes down with Marcus McCullenchak and Lucas Chowning. Your front row, green flags up, we're underway.
McCullenchak already on the gas into turn number 1 and 2. He'll lead them down the back straightaway. They're side by side from position number 2. It's Lucas Chowning. He'll move up to 2nd. Austin Moore in tow at position number 3.
Terry Gray, the X-Man, rides back in 4th, 5th. Daniel Cummings Jr. Then it's Killian, Evans, Dahl, and Helms. Lap number 1 in the books by half a car length. McCullenchak leads the way, but Lucas Chowning charging on the top side. Now McCullenchak slides up the speedway. Chowning turns down the hill. They continue to battle for the lead out of 2 down the back straightaway off into turn 3.
And we're going to have an over caution flag here on lap number 2. Couple of drivers in the back. Eric Scalf in the 26 as well as the 29 of Chris Malone involved in a little bit of an incident back there. And a couple of drivers upside down as well. We'll take a look and see what happened right here, running 4 and 5 wide back there. And that'll be Blake Cannon, one of the guys upside down, as well as the 26 of Eric Scalf. A break for those guys here on the opening laps of last chance qualifier number 2.
All right, so a couple of guys ducking into the pit area. Going to try to make it back out. We'll see if they're able to or not. But right now, Marcus McCullencheck leads the way. The Corpus Christi, Texas driver, Lucas Chowning in position number 2. Austin Moore 3rd, Terry Gray 4th, Benji Killian 5th, Daniel Cummings in 6th, Shane Evans 7th, and William Dahl in that all-important number 8 spot as we work lap number 4 under caution.
William Dahl in the car number 40 trying to redeem himself from earlier on in the heat race. He was beat and banged around a little bit, challenging for the second and final transfer spot in his heat race. Found himself in a little bit of contact with some of the drivers. He's trying to work his way back up through the field and make it into some feature number 1 where he can try to hope to get one of those coveted top 6 spots here in server number 1 for tonight's Star Spangled Showdown main event. As they're re-racking them, restacking them right now, we'll go green next time out of turn number 4.
All right, so it looks like when we come back to the green flag, we're going to have officially 5 laps in the books, 10 laps to go, 10 laps to get in one of those top 8 positions. And racetrack pretty good right now, Tommy. We're seeing guys use different grooves, kind of able to run top, middle, bottom. Easy for me to say, depending on where you're most comfortable.
Yeah, a lot of grooves open right now here at the Volusia Speedway Park. Some of these guys running the cushion still. Looks like where Lucas Chowning was preferring the line. As McCullencheck, he was working the bottom of the racetrack, but we go back green, and McCullencheck back on the gas. He'll lead them down into turn number 1 and 2. It'll be Lucas Chowning, Austin Moore, your top 3 drivers.
McCullencheck way up in the cushion out of 2 down the back straight. He gets a fantastic restart. A driver that is not Austin Moore as he loses considerable ground to your top 2 cars. Lucas Chowning in 2nd, McCullencheck in the lead, and the caution waves once again.
All right, next caution out on the racetrack. We'll take a look and see what happened here. Have some cars towards the back area. Not sure what that may have possibly been on. We'll take one more look at it and see what happened here. Oh, 101 car getting a little bit turned around right there. But disconnection issues going on with that 101 machine as well. The 156 of Mike Molnar and making some contact as well. Molnar able to keep it going. Nonetheless, it'll be 7 laps down, 8 laps remaining, just under halfway here in last chance qualifier number 2. Here in server number 1. One more server set to come up right after this one. And the 101 of Josh Helms, he'll receive the end of the line penalty right now, suffering from those connection issues. He'll restart the tail end of the field, try to get it fixed right quick. Somebody may be on the Wi-Fi down the stairs watching the Netflix or something. He'll probably go and yell at him, tell him to turn it off so he can finish the race. Nonetheless, we'll re-rack them, restack them, double them back up.
Yeah, you lean down the stairs and go, Mom, get off YouTube, quit uploading videos, I'm busy. So it happens.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, one thing we know is these cautions continue to wave. We get another one, it's going to get really dicey for those guys from 9th on back, guys like Chadron Beam, Mike Molnar, because they are running out of laps. And yeah, there's a green-white checkered chance, but you don't want to narrow it down to just 2 laps. As we'll come around this time, there'll be 6 laps remaining, and that gives you a chance to get your way into the show. But anything less than 6, it starts to get a little bit anxious if you're going to have a chance or not.
William Dahl, Shane Evans definitely enjoying the caution flag laps as they run 7th and 8th right now. Once again, top 8 drivers transfer. So William Dahl in that 40 machine, he's the man on the bubble right now. As we go back to green, I mean, McCullencheck leading him back down into turn number 1 and 2. And just like that, we have a caution out on the racetrack. Oh my goodness.
And if you're Molnar and everybody else, that is not what you wanted to see. And it looks like Chadron Beam might have dropped to the back as well. Not sure if he had an issue there, Tommy.
Chadron Beam, Andy Jones just all stacking it up right there. Chadron Beam spins it around right in front of everybody right there on the restart. Beam, around he goes, facing the wrong direction. His night may be done.
Wow, talk about he was 1 spot out of a transfer. And we saw it in the last chance showdown as well. The guy that was running 9th, he was the guy that dialed it out on the restart. I believe it was Kirchner. And right now the 9th place, not the place to be late in the race if you're trying to race your way into the show.
Hanover Record Service definitely getting their money's worth here in server last chance qualifier number 2, server number 1, as we have our 3rd caution of last chance qualifier number 2. It's probably equaled the amount of cautions we've had throughout the rest of the night, I do believe.
Yeah, this has been a chaotic one so far, as Chadron Beam being given the end-of-line penalty for that melee. We'll come around this time by. There'll only be 3 laps remaining, so we may be creeping up on a green-white checkered finish as the restarts have been changed to single file. And for Marcus McColchek, that sounds pretty good right now, as he does not want too much company up front. We're going to roll him around one more time. So, Tommy, that means we are indeed going to see a green-white checkered finish here in Last Chance Showdown number 2.
Yeah, VLR Administrator KT King calling for the single file restart to try to get this race in. Last Chance Qualifier number 2 is set to wrap it up. It'll be a green-white checkered. William Dahl, he'll be the man on the bubble right now, back there in position number 8. Mike Molnar on the outside looking in at the moment, as we'll go green this time out of turn number 4.
All right, we'll go green, and we'll see 3 flags. We'll see the green, we'll come back to the white, and then the checkered. In a perfect world, if there's not another caution on this restart, look for that pace truck to duck to the infield out of turn at number 4. As the Hanover Wrecker Service caution is removed from the Speedway. We've got 2 laps to go in Last Chance Showdown at number 2 as we work off into turns 1 and 2. And a big move by Lucas Chowning, a slider all the way up the Speedway. Marcus McColchek says no sir, turns down the hill, drives around him. He'll race back to the white flag.
Lucas Chowning going to throw that haymaker down into turn number 3 and 4 one more time. May have him cleared this time. It'll be a white flag for Lucas Chowning in that 044 machine.
McColchek had all kinds of trouble up in 3 and 4. He's going to throw another slider down in 1 and 2. Oh, contact, hold on to it, Lucas Chowning. Can he stay in a transfer spot? McColchek, your leader. He's got company. Here comes Terry Gray.
Terry Gray on the bottom of the racetrack. 3 wide out of turn number 4 for Last Chance Qualifier number 2 to be Mike McColchek, taking home the win here in Last Chance Qualifier number 2. Terry Gray, Austin Moore, Benji Killian, Shane Evans, Lucas Chowning, Daniel Cummings, and William Dahl will round out the rest of the field as your 8 transfers in Last Chance Qualifier number 2.
Wow, Lucas Chowning was in the lead, had contact with McColchek, almost looped it out. He almost stalled the car, got it back going. He doesn't get the winner second, but he does get 6th. That means he moves off to the main event, and that one got pretty exciting on the final lap, Tommy.
Definitely right there. Lucas Chowning only 2 positions away from losing everything right there from hero to 0 in 1 lap. And we'll have a quick, brief warm-up session, and then we'll get ready for our 35-lap sub-feature number 1. All right, shouldn't take very long right here.
We kind of expected tonight, Tommy, that guys were not going to be very prone to giving an inch, and indeed they have not, as we've seen far more cautions tonight than we saw last night combined. And this is just server 1. This 35-lap feature will be entertaining to see how hard guys fight to get into those top 6 spots. Otherwise, they're done for the night.
Last chance for these guys to make the big show. We're going to have 24 drivers right here. The top 6 will make tonight's 50-lap main event. We'll go ahead and read out the starting lineup here for sub-feature number 1. Starting on the front row on the inside in the 007 machine. That'll be Jacob Fields. And to his outside in the 33, that'll be Evan C. Row number 2 on the inside, that 07 will be Davin Cardwell. And to his outside in the 18, that'll be Austin Simmelman. Row number 3 on the inside, the 37, that'll be TJ Carter. To his outside, the 01, that'll be Tyler Hudson. Grant Riles, he'll be in the inside of row number 4, that 16 machine. To his outside, the 12, that'll be Marcus Mays. Dylan Wilson, he'll start on the inside of row number 5 alongside Marcus McColchek, who picked up the win in B-main number 2 just a moment ago. And row number 6 on the inside, I'll see the 57 of Dustin Hall. To his outside, that'll be the X-Man, that'll be Terry Gray. Row number 7 on the inside, the 18, that'll be Kyle Surratt. To his outside, the 55, that'll be Austin Moore. And row number 8 on the inside, the 84, that'll be Clay Devitt. To his outside, the 75, that'll be Benji Killian. And row number 9 on the inside, the 10 machine, that'll be Skylar Brown. To his outside, and the 92, that'll be Shane Evans. And row number 10 on the inside, the 63, that'll be Clifford Driscoll. To his outside, the 44, that's Lucas Chowning. Greg Perkins in the 4, Daniel Cummins in the 24, that'll be the inside-outside of row number 11. And row number 12, the inside, the 75, will be Jeremy Ray. To his outside, the 40, it'll be William Dahl. Those will be your 24 drivers competing for 6 spots here in sub-feature number 1 for the Star Spangled Showdown presented by the South Texas Speedway. Ace Truck should be getting ready to pull that hard left-hand turn into the infield. And we are green here in sub-feature number 1.
Jacob Fields with a hole shot off into turns 1 and 2. He's got Devin Cardwell right there behind him, 2 by 2 back through the pack. Your leader, Jacob Fields, all by his lonesome as he works off the bottom of turns 1 and 2 to the bottom of 3 and 4. He's going to come around. Lap number 1 will be in the books, and it's going to be Jacob Fields, the 007, leading the way.
24 drivers, 6 spots up for grabs here in server number 1. Evan C to the top of the racetrack. He'll power back to the outside of Jacob Fields for the race lead down the back straightaway. They're side by side for position number 3 right behind him. Then it's Tyler Hudson, Grant Riles holding on to that 6th and final transfer spot.
What an impressive move by Evan C to get to the lead. The Spartanburg, South Carolina driver out of 2 just powered to the top spot. Fields in the 2nd position, back in 3rd. Austin Simmelman now side by side for 4th. The 07 of Davin Cardwell and Tyler Hudson. That 6th and final transfer as they run. Marcus Mays in the 12.
Marcus Mays holding on to that 6th and final transfer spot. He's got a big mirror full of that 80 machine of Dylan Wilson, who's right behind him, as well as the 16 of Marcus Mays. And here comes McCullencheck already up there as well into the top 10.
Good battle for the top spot as they pull even off of turn number 4, and now to be Evan C motoring away by car length at the line. Jacob Fields testing the low line side by side for the lead through turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. That top's still just a little too good as C stretches it out as Austin Simmelman moves in to do battle with the 007 car of Fields for position number 2.
Dylan Wilson, the 80 machine, already up to the 6th and final transfer spot, trying to pull away from the 12 of Marcus Mays. As once again, they're almost side by side for the lead back up front. Evan C still holding on to it. It's Jacob Fields, Austin Simmelman, Tyler Hudson, Davin Cardwell running single file right now into turn number 3 and 4.
Dylan Wilson since that 6th and final transfer. That driver's passed a lot of cars here tonight. Marcus Mays on the outside looking in 7th, and it's Grant Riles, McCullencheck, and TJ Carter rounding out your top 10. Only 6 drivers move on, and right now a majority of your field content to ride around the high side of this Volusia Speedway Park as we are going to have a caution.
Caution on the speedway. That's probably going to be the 18 of Kyle Surratt, who finds his way turned around here on lap number 7. Kyle Surratt working around the racetrack, gets up into the side. I do believe that's the X-Man. Gets up into the side of just a little bit. And turned around is the 18 of Kyle Surratt. Looks like his night may be done as he takes it to the pits and loads it up. Maybe a bit of frustration there on his part.
Come around to complete lap number 7. 7 down, 28 to go. Evan C, Jacob Fields, Austin Simmelman, Tyler Hudson, Davin Cardwell, Dylan Wilson, Marcus Mays, and Grant Riles right now in positions 1 through 8. And it's TJ Carter and Dustin Hall as the driver on the hot seat continues to be Dylan Wilson. And right now the top side of the speedway seems like the place to be, Tommy, but as we've seen, the racetrack tends to come to life sometimes on these restarts. It'll be interesting to see if that bottom or middle start to come in as well.
I'll be definitely interested to see how much racing these top 5-6 drivers actually do, or if they'll be content to run single file to try to make it into tonight's show and guarantee their spot as one of those 24 starting cars in the Star Spangled Showdown. But nonetheless, we're still under caution here. The Hanover Record Service caution number 1 for sub-feature number 1. Evan C, Jacob Fields set to lead them back to the green as they double up right here. Should go green next time out of turn number 4.
So next time out of 4 we'll go green. There will be 10 laps complete. 25 laps to go in this prelim feature as the drivers in server 2 are getting ramped up, getting ready to go, so we can put the final 6 drivers in the feature. But first we had to take 6 out of this one off to the big show. And Evan C leading the way. And car 33, the South Carolina driver, as we get set to come back to the green flag. Pace truck will make the left-hand turn into the pit area, and we are back underway.
They're back underway. Evan C already back on the gas. He'll lead him down into turn number 1. Austin Simmelman will dive down to the bottom of the racetrack, try to make something happen. Fields falls back to 3rd for the moment, but he uses the outside of the racetrack to power back ahead of Simmelman down the back straightaway.
Off into turns 3 and 4. C leads the way. Simmelman in 2nd. Fields marching around the hot spot. Now Fields up into the 2nd spot as Simmelman loses some ground. He'll fall back to 4th. As Tyler Hudson claws his way up into third, keep an eye on that 0-1 car as he's marching his way forward through the pack.
Davin Cardwell, who falls back to that sixth and final transfer spot as Dylan Wilson. He's not done taking names just yet as he works the outside of Austin Simmelman from position number 4. Now has his sights set on Tyler Hudson, who works the top 3.
Working lap number 13, out of 2, down the back straightaway. Top 2 getting tighter and tighter. C leads the way, but Fields lining him up. Possible slide job or an outside pass. Right now they run the same groove out of turn at number 4, and C will lead another lap. He's got a lot of company right there with Jacob Fields, Tyler Hudson trying to reel him in, and he's bringing Dylan Wilson. A lot of good cars going for the lead in this one tonight.
Jacob Fields trying to work down the bottom of the racetrack. Top just has too much there right now as he actually loses ground going to the bottom of the racetrack. Now allows Hudson and Dylan Wilson to be right there on his back bumper as they come around to complete lap number 14. It'll be 21 laps remaining here in sub-feature number 1.
Evan C will lead him out of 2 down the back straightaway, now extending that advantage. He's got over a half a straightaway lead over Jacob Fields as that 33 car starting to hit his marks. Tyler Hudson back in third, Dylan Wilson fourth, Austin Simmelman in fifth, and Davin Cardwell and Grant Riles, with Riles right now outside looking in the 7th position.
Grant Riles holding on, actually looking for position number 6. Davin Cardwell holding on to that 6th and final transfer spot. Biggest mover right now, Clay Devin, starting in the 15th place position. He's up to position number 8. 2 more spots to go for him to try to transfer over into the main event as we're coming around. It'll be 17 laps down next time by, just about halfway home.
That top's just too good right now. Tyler Hudson took a peek to the inside of Fields, and it cost him about 6 car lengths to the second place cars. Now Dylan Wilson goes after Tyler Hudson for that position. Right now, if you move off that cushion, you're going to go backwards as we will be at the halfway point this time out of turn 4. 18 down, 17 to go. And Evan C. starting second on the grid. He leads the way over Jacob Fields, Tyler Hudson, Dylan Wilson, Austin Simmelman, Davin Cardwell. That's your top 6 at the halfway mark.
Funny if this time last year, Dylan Wilson, he was the winner of the Race for Hope 74 that was held here at the Volusia Speedway Park, trying to look for his second career VLR Crown Jewel event, as well as Tyler Hudson, who took home 2018 VLR Spring Fling. Those 2 drivers running 3rd and 4th right now. That's Austin Simmelman and Davin Cardwell in the 4th and 5th place, or 5th and 6th place drivers. Cardwell, the man on the bubble right now. Grant Riles on the outside looking in as we're coming around to 20 laps down.
And caution's going to be on the speedway, Tommy. Caution on the speedway as we come to complete lap 20.
Oh, big crash in the back right here. Skylar Brown in the 10 machine, maybe Austin Moore as well. Skylar Brown let it all hang out. Austin Moore tried to cross him back over. Just too much car to try to clear the 10 of Skylar Brown. Nowhere to go. Both of these drivers upside down. Big crash into the wall in front straightaway.
A tough break for those drivers as we complete lap 21. 21 laps down, 14 to go with Evan C. out front, Jacob Fields in second, Tyler Hudson in third, Dylan Wilson fourth, Simmelman in fifth, and Grant Riles that 6th and final transfer. And maybe the first time in these 2 nights now, Tommy, that we've seen one groove just become dominant in the feature. And not saying that something won't change in these final 10 or so laps, but right now that cushion it keeps getting closer to the fence, but it is still absolutely the fastest way around this half-mile Gumbo Oval.
Definitely as dominant as we've seen the cushion in any parts of racing throughout both nights that we've seen so far. But all these drivers have to run the same setup, same track. So each of these drivers trying to figure it out. And Evan C. right now, he's the man that's figured it out the best, as he's currently sitting on top of the leaderboards with Jacob Fields right behind him in position number 2. Tyler Hudson, Dylan Wilson, Austin Simmelman, Davin Cardwell. Your top 6 drivers. Once again, top 6 drivers transfer from this feature event. Then we'll have another 60-car field and take the top 6 from there for tonight's 50-lap Star Spangled Showdown presented by the South Texas Speedway.
All right, getting them doubled back up, double file restart. We'll see maybe if this will bring the racetrack back to life with Evan C., your leader. Now, what's interesting, Evan's been just blasting around that cushion. He's going to be on the inside now. It's going to be imperative to get a good restart to get that top back away from Jacob Fields as we look for the pace truck to pull to the infield. The pace truck will pull in. 23 laps complete. 12 laps to go. Top 6 of the big show. Everybody else done for the event.
And here comes Tyler Hudson. Hudson back up to position number 2, trying to clear Jacob Fields this time. Fields able to get back by him. And Dylan Wilson, a little tap in the wall. He may fall out of the top 6 right here. Dylan Wilson back there in that Hornet's nest.
Well, Hudson and Dylan Wilson got together, and Dylan Wilson gets the worst for wear of that one. Loses several spots. In fact, that time at the line, he comes by, and he is in the 6th and final transfer. He's got a lot of drivers coming after him out front. Evan C. leads the way. Jacob Fields in 2nd. Tyler Hudson 3rd. Simmelman up to 4th. Davin Cardwell 5th. Dylan Wilson back in the 6th spot.
3 wide right now for the 4th, 5th, and 6th place spots. Austin Simlin on the bottom, Wilson through the middle, Cardwell on the top of the racetrack, but back up front. Battle heating up for the race lead once again. Jacob Fields going to throw it in very hard.
Evan C. leads the way. Fields back in the 2nd position. Tyler Hudson in 3rd. In position number 4, the 07 of Davin Cardwell. And now a little beating and banging back in the pack as your top 6 mix it up. Dylan Wilson comes after Simmelman down the back straightaway. That's first position number 5. Grant Riles outside looking in. He rides back in 7th. 27 laps complete, 8 laps to go.
8 laps to go for Dylan Wilson to try to hold on to that 6th place position as Austin Simmelman threw a wild slide job on him just a couple of laps ago. But Grant Riles on the outside looking in. He's just got a couple of more laps to try to run down Dylan Wilson, try to make something happen. Big contact right behind them.
Big contact back in the pack, and I believe that's going to be Marcus Mays. Is not sure who got into Marcus, but I looked up and that car was getting absolutely door slammed up in the middle of turn number 4.
Looks like that may have been the 99 of McCullencheck making the contact with Mays right there. Big hard slide, yes indeed. Big hard slide job right there from McCullencheck. Just not clear of the 12 machine of Mays, and around he goes. But we are still green here in sub-feature number 1. Evan C. still showing the way.
And just 5 laps to go as they work out of turn number 4. 5 more times around the speedway. It's Evan C., Jacob Fields, Tyler Hudson, Davin Cardwell, Austin Simmelman. And your 6th and final transfer as they run right now, Dylan Wilson, Grant Riles outside looking in. That's McCullencheck, Clay Devin, and TJ Carter, your top 10.
Big slide job thrown right there from Grant Riles over Dylan Wilson, and then the caution flag flies. We'll see how they scored him on the last time by. It may have been Grant Riles scored with position number 6.
I think you're going to be right, Tommy. And what's going to also be interesting here is we will be set up regardless for a green-white checkered finish, because right now, 31 coming back to 32 laps complete. You got to think best case scenario, we're going to go back green lap 34. So I'm guessing it's going to be green-white checkered. We'll wait for confirmation here, but I'm thinking that's what we're going to be looking at here in this event with the top 6 moving on.
And I do believe that caution does come out for Benji Killian and Jeremy Ray. A couple of 75 machines getting together back there. But nonetheless, Dylan Wilson, he finds himself now on the outside looking in thanks to that caution. Grant Riles, he'll restart in position number 6. It'll be a green-white checker for Grant Riles to try to hold on to that 6th and final transfer spot.
Well, Riles got it away from Dylan Wilson. Wilson's had quite the uphill battle all night, and now he's got it again with 2 laps to go. He's going to have 2 laps to find his way into that final transfer spot. McCullencheck keeping on that 99 back there, up into the 8th position now, and then in 9th it's Clay Devin, TJ Carter in 10th. Evan C. driving a great race out front so far, as I think we're going to take him around one more time before we go back green.
They're racked and stacked and doubled back up. We'll go green next time out of turn number 4 to be a green-white checkered finish here in the UMP Modifieds at Volusia for the Star Spangled Showdown sub-feature number 1, presented by the South Texas Speedway. As the Hanover Record Service caution wraps up, pace truck should be getting ready to pull in the infield. It'll be up to Evan C. in the 33. Jacob Fields set to lead him back to the green.
2-lap shootout. If you're not in the top 6, you're done for the event. So we're going to see how aggressive guys get as they've got 2 laps getting one of those top 6 spots. It's up to Evan C. to bring us back to the green. He'll mash the loud pedal out of turn number 4. We're back underway. Past the flag stand. The green flag this time, Bob. The white will fly next time, Tommy.
Evan C. He'll lead him down the back straightaway. They're almost 3 wide right behind him. Tyler Hudson knocking on the door for a second. Then it's Austin Simmelman, Davin Cardwell, Dylan Wilson to the bottom of the racetrack. They'll come around this time. It'll be the checkered flag in the air this time. Wilson with some big contact right there. They come around. Top 6 drivers, it will be Austin Simmelman, Davin Cardwell, Dylan Wilson. Your top 6 drivers is Evan C., Jacob Fields, Tyler Hudson round out the top 3.
Well, that one got kind of dicey there at the end. Evan C. getting the win, but what a finish. Jacob Fields, Tyler Hudson, Simmelman, Cardwell, as you said, and Wilson getting back to that final transfer spot. But Evan C. picks up the win. He will start 13th in the 50-lapper later tonight with over $3,000 on the line. And Tommy, we knew that one was going to get physical with that last late race restart, and indeed that's what we saw.
That 5th, 6th, and 7th place finish, going back to look at it, was amazing. Those three drivers were stuck to one another coming to the line, less than probably a nose between the three drivers in the 6th and final transfer spot in that last and sub-feature number 1. But nonetheless, Evan C., he'll take home the transfer spot. Jacob Fields, Tyler Hudson, Simmelman, Cardwell, and Dylan Wilson. Those will be your 6 drivers here from server number 1. Ben, we got a whole nother server to go after this one.
Yeah, we're going to grab a couple of these guys real quick, and then we're going to go into that server. We'll go ahead and bring Jacob Fields in right now. He is your 2nd place finisher. He started on the pole, was a contender throughout the race, and we'll bring Jacob up into the broadcaster room. And Jacob has made his way up now, the 007 Indiana racer. Well, Jacob, that was a good one to be near the front of the pack because things got dicey late in the race. How excited are you to be in the big show?
Oh, it feels awesome. I definitely was a little skeptical after yesterday, finishing, I think it was 1 or 2 spots out, but qualified pole today and got it done.
Well, those guys, the cautions come out late in the race, and as a guy that's in a transfer spot, how bad do you just want to see the checkered flag?
Oh man, it was terrible. I felt like the cautions just kept getting longer and longer every time.
Well, you did a great job. Real quick before you get ready for the feature, who would you like to thank?
Oh yeah, I got to thank Mr. Havens for sponsoring my way in here. Got to thank the guys at Elite 7. Got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's fun to go back and watch. And thank BLR.
All right. Well, congrats to Jacob Fields. He finished 2nd. He moves off to the main event. And we will now bring in, let's look down the list, see who else we have got here. We will bring Tyler Hudson up. Tyler was 3rd. Tyler from 6th to 3rd. He moves off to the main event. Well, Tyler, you weren't even with us last night, and now tonight you find your way racing into the main event. You've won one of these big shows from dead last before. Can you win 50 laps? Can you get to the front and pick up this $500 prize tonight?
Well, first of all, I'm just really happy to be on the show. That was a huge relief. There's a lot of pressure there. I mean, if you're in the show, any of these guys can win, so I definitely think we got a shot. Just starting deep like that, we'll have to have some things go our way, but hey, anything's possible, and I'm just happy to be in the race at this point.
Well, Tyler, we're glad to have you in the race. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just shout out to iRacing.com for letting us do this. Everybody can go there and sign up and get an account, do what we're doing right here, and One Up Motorsports for helping me out there and helping me with the lines and just giving me moral support. So appreciate it.
All right. Well, good luck to you, Tyler. Congrats on making the main event.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to bring up one last driver here. A few guys have already moved on, and we want to get into server 2 as well. So we're going to bring up Dylan Wilson, the 6th and final transfer, as he came from 9th to 6th. Dylan, if you can hear us, you had quite the night. You were fast in hot laps. Then you missed qualifying from the back of the heat through the B, make it into the feature. How exhausted are you now with still the 50-lapper to go?
Oh, you're mic'd up.
There you go, Dylan. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I got you. I'm just saying your microphone's still mic'd up.
Yeah, it stays like that. Mine stays like
Oh,
that. So
okay.
yeah,
All right.
just talk about the run you had here tonight, and to get into this feature, how big of a challenge was it?
It's pretty tough after missing last night. It's kind of your only opportunity to make it tonight. So we did that. I wasn't proud of the way that race went, but when you got a one-groove tracker on the top, the only way to do is to try to throw it across the slick as hard as you can, and there's not a lot of grip, so you end up slowing your momentum down, and it ends up being a lot closer than you want it to be when you're trying to slide the car. And I apologize to the guys. I don't think that last lap was anything but hard racing, so yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, it's just a product of one groove racing and everybody trying to block one line and everybody trying to make a move on everybody. So.
Well, Dylan, you're in the show. You're going to start 23rd before you go and start getting ready for the main event. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Oh, yeah. Thanks to the guys that put this on. I know there's a ton of you guys, so everybody over here on this side of it. D1RT Racing and the guys we got involved in this deal tonight. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right, well, congrats, Dylan. We'll see you in the main event a little bit later.
All right, thanks.
All right, so there you have it. 6 more drivers move off to the main event. We are now going to get ready for Server 2, so we're going to sign off here from Server 1. On behalf of myself, Ben Shelton, Tommy Rowe, thanks for watching Server number 1 of night number 2, the inaugural Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. Thanks, everybody, for watching. All the sponsors. We'll see you in just a few moments over on Server number 2, where we're going to get 6 more guys locked into the main event. Well, welcome to server number 2, night number 2, the final preliminary event for the inaugural Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway here with Team VLR, Volusia Speedway Park, and warm-up laps are just about to conclude, and we're going to jump into qualifying. As Tommy, we've got 18 guys in the feature, 6 spots left. We're going to take 6 out of the 35-lap preliminary on this one, preliminary feature on this server, and then we go 50 laps for over $3,000 in total prize money for the big finale.
18 drivers have already cashed their tickets to tonight's main event, looking for 6 more right here out of server number 2, the second and final server here on night number 2 of the VLR Star Spangled Showdown presented by the South Texas Speedway. I want to thank South Texas Speedway for coming on board as this year's title sponsor for the Star Spangled Showdown. You can check those guys out at southtexasspeedway.com. I do believe racetrack down in Corpus Christi, Texas, running throughout the season.
Had a few Corpus Christi guys trying to race their way into the feature. We just saw McCullencheck miss it, but he made it very entertaining in the first server. As again, only 6 spots remain for that 50-lapper coming up later. And we talked about the feature there in server number 1 tonight. First time we've seen the racetrack really go top dominant, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of characteristics the track has in this server.
Definitely interesting to see if the admins may have possibly changed up the track conditions a little bit to maybe get that bottom groove back working. But nonetheless, we're going to rack them and stack them. We're going to narrow it down. Once again, there's about 40 drivers signed in right now. 40 drivers that have made time in practice. And the quick time on top of the leaderboard, 16.885, down to the slowest of a 17.899. So less than a second separating the entire field here in the fixed setup at Volusia.
Now, Tommy, if you were in here, where would your time be right now? Where would you fall amongst the leaders?
Probably in between Nieberger and Lawton down there second to last. I don't know. They're pretty close. I'm more of a sprint car guy than the modifieds. So I kind of actually struggle more in the modifieds and the late models than I'm doing the sprint cars.
Well, I mean, if you're going to make excuses, it's fine. I would be awful equally in all of them. I have not done any of them. I have not had time. I'd love to, but I'm sure I would be awful in all of them equally. So
there is a reason I'm up here in the booth with you, Ben.
Touche, understand, sir. Very much understood. Well, one thing for sure, the top of the leaderboard here in warm-ups, Drew Hopkins, 16.885, the Broadhead, Kentucky driver. And we've seen a lot of the drivers over the past few nights. If you're fast in practice, you're fast in qualifying, except for Dylan Wilson in the first server tonight. He was fast in practice, did not make it out in qualifying. Bad break for that driver, but he still raced his way into the 6th and final transfer spot after starting on the back of his heat race and having to come through a B main.
Not noticing any new names here in server number 2 at the moment. Maybe slipping my mind. It looks like all these drivers probably did race last night, looking for a second chance at redemption here. As we get set to go, checkered flag is flying in practice, and we're going to roll it over to qualifying right now.
Yeah, we had a few newcomers in the last server, and you know what? A couple of them made their way into the feature, but this one, it looks like, as you said, it's going to be guys that we've already seen as we get set for qualifying, and qualifying will determine heat race lineups. I think we'll have 4 heat races in this server like we did in the last one, 8 laps the distance, top 2 in each heat race move on, and then 2 last chance showdowns with the top 8 out of each one of those last chance showdowns, moving off to the main event. 24 cars, 35 laps, top 6 move off to the finale, which again will have a total purse over $3,000 later tonight.
Only 1 lap in qualifying, so these drivers have to make sure to not make a mistake in their qualifying time. Qualifying very crucial here at the Volusia Speedway Park. If you do tap the wall or any part of the racetrack, your time is disqualified, does not count. So these drivers have to make sure they run that perfect 1 lap here in qualifying. And right now on top of the leaderboard is Trent Beaver with a 17.871. Currently your pole sitter. Still a lot of drivers left to make time.
Trent Beaver had a fast car last night, just did not have luck going his way. So he's going to try to race his way in. Dylan Fox second, Barrett Bishop third. Nieberger, I think he's got out of your time range now, Tommy. He's up to 4th fastest, and Trevor Fitz, that's your top 5.
Yeah, definitely some fast drivers in here. Like I said, time's actually a lot quicker than they were in practice, as your slowest right now, 18.287. The pole sitter, 17.843. Holomaniac, David Holloman. up on top of the leaderboards now with Justin Thomas moving into position number 2. Howard Weaver up to position number 2 now. So a couple of guys overtaking Trent Beaver on the leaderboards as we're getting set to wrap up qualifying. 15 seconds left to go.
Wisconsin leads the way in the Napa Auto Parts Casey Kane Racing, number 48 for David Heileman, the Milwaukee driver. And again, drivers from all across North America in this one. Evan C. picking up the win in the last one. South Carolina driver. North Carolina got a win last night with Kendall Tucker. And then New York got a win with Blake Majulis. So a lot of different states represented, a couple of different countries. And David Heileman, indeed, Tommy, he is going to be your fast qualifier for the final preliminary event of the week here as we get set now with Heat Race Grid, Heat Race number 1, starting to line up.
All right, 11 drivers set to take the grid here in Heat Race number 1. 8 laps will be the distance. Once again, top 2 drivers will transfer over to sub-feature number 2. We'll take the top 6 drivers from there. And we'll go ahead and read out the starting lineup. Starting on the front row on the inside in car number 48, that Napa Auto Parts Casey Kane Racing entry. It'll be David Heileman. To his outside in that 999 machine, that'll be Dylan Fox. Runner number 2 on the inside, the 28 D1RT Racing entry. That'll be Trevor Fitz to his outside. The 91, that'll be Jared Moppin. Runner number 3 on the inside, the 157 machine. That'll be Drew Hopkins to his outside. The 112, that'll be Devin Morgan. Runner number 4 on the inside. In the 25 will be Jarrett Murphy, and to his outside, the 57 will be Ryan Diatti. And row number 5 on the inside in the 18 machine, it'll be Bryce Daffrin to his outside. In the 09, it'll be Cody Turchi. And scheduled to start shotgun on the field in that 61 machine, that'll be Jonathan Lampman. Once again, 11 drivers, if they can all make it, set to go 8 laps here in Heat Race number 1.
Well, we've seen over 100 drivers enter at least one event so far this week here in this great event. And a lot of talented drivers, a lot of good drivers have already missed the show out of Server 1. And Server 2, there's a lot of talented guys trying not to fall into that same trap. And again, we just want to thank the sponsors. Of course, South Texas Speedway, the presenting sponsor. Hanover Wrecker Service, they got their money's worth out of the last one. They're sponsoring all of these cautions. So they definitely got their money's worth. And we just want to thank everybody for supporting this event as we get set for Heat Race 1 to roll off the grid.
All right, Jared Moppin representing the South Texas Speedway already here in Heat Race number 1. Scheduled to start on the outside of row number 2 in that Team VLR Racing entry, iRacing iFlag entry. Nonetheless, David Heileman supporting the red and white machine here tonight on my screen. Not sure if that's showing up on the viewers at home as well. He'll start on the inside with Dylan Fox to his outside in that 999 machine. Dylan Fox, of course, the winner of the VLR Spring Fling back in April that Ben and myself called that night. We'll see them lead them back to the green, I believe, next time out of turn number 4.
Well, a tough break. I think Heileman having some issues here. So your fast qualifier, your pole sitter for Heat Race number 1, not on the Speedway. Wow, what a tough break there, Tommy, as we're going to take him around one more time before this Heat Race comes to the green.
I think that's David on the front row. It's just showing up in a different car for me. In the red and white 49 machine. He is actually on the front row.
Yeah, and it's actually showing up as a 48 on mine. So there you go. Now, explain real quick, if somebody's tuned in, the reason these paint schemes might vary from what we see in the lineups to what's on the racetrack.
We have custom paints here on iRacing, introduced about 2 builds ago, and these drivers are able to paint their own custom numbers on the side of their race cars. And it may not be the same as the iRacing number that iRacing generically gives you for entering the server, because some of these drivers may be possibly running the same number on their race car. But nonetheless, David Heileman being shown in the 48, actually in the 49. He'll lead him down into turn number 1. Dylan Fox at the 28 of Trevor Fitz on the inside, outside for position number 2.
Well, there's a lot of things we don't know, but right now we do know for a fact David Heileman is on the track. He is leading the way in car number 49. Dylan Fox back in second, and Trevor Fitz in the 3rd spot. The California racer digging, trying to find his way into a transfer spot in car number 28. He's got Jared Maupin, the South Texas driver, to his outside as they go 3 wide for the 4th spot down the back straightaway.
David Heileman leading a pair of D1RT entries back there at 2nd and 3rd right now. Casey Kane, Sim Racing driver, coming around to complete lap number 2. 6 laps more around the racetrack for the Holomaniac to hold on to heat race number 1 to try to transfer into sub-feature number 2. Here later on tonight, Dylan Fox trying to run him down.
It's a cheesehead party at the front of the field. Milwaukee leads the way right now over Dylan Fox, who's out of Plymouth, Wisconsin. So an all-Wisconsin affair in these 2 transfer spots as they work out of 2 down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, in third, Trevor Fitz, Jared Maupin, Devin Morgan, everybody else losing wholesale ground to your top 2 cars. And that's a bad thing because we're halfway home out of turn number 4. 4 in the books, 4 laps to go.
Halfway home, Jared Maupin now looking on the inside of Trevor Fitz for position number 3, all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Racetrack looks pretty racy right now. A couple of drivers running a few different lines. But Jared Maupin, he's going to go down almost towards the inside of the wall as these drivers drift all the way back up to the top, right around the cushion out of turn number 4.
Your top 2 cars continue to pull away. Meanwhile, as Tommy was saying, from third on back, fantastic racing back there. Your top 2, though, they're keeping their noses clean, and they are motoring away, trying to race into that 35-lap preliminary feature coming up a little bit later this evening, where the top 6 move off to the 50-lap finale.
David Holloman comes around to 2 laps to go this time. Actually, 1.5 more times around the racetrack right now. As Dylan Fox still holding down position number 2 down the back straightaway. Holloman, he'll come around out of turn number 3 and 4. They'll see the white flag out of turn number 4 this time.
One more time around the speedway for David Heileman, the Napa Auto Parts. Car number 49, the Milwaukee driver, has led since the drop of the green flag in this one. The fast qualifier in this server, and he's only got half a lap left, Tommy.
Coming out of turn number 3 and 4, Heileman drifts up to the top of the racetrack. He'll take home the win here in heat race number 1. Dylan Fox will take home the second and final transfer spot. Then it's Trevor Fitz, Ryan Dianti, Jarrett Maupin, your top 5 drivers. Third on back will have to transfer from one of those last chance qualifiers coming up here in just a little bit as we move over to heat race number 2.
No rest for the wicked, Tommy, as heat race 2 already setting on the grid.
Starting on the front row on the inside in that 07 machine, the Crossville, Tennessee driver in the iRacing I-Flag entry. That'll be Howard Weaver. To his outside in car number 3, that'll be Barrett Bishop. Barrett Bishop in that 03 machine. Barrett Bishop, Cross, North Carolina driver. And row number 2 on the inside in that 0 machine, showing up as 22 on my screen, but he is in car number 0. That'll be Austin Matthews, Dexter, Missouri driver, and the Headhunter Motorsports entry. And to his outside in car number 10, that'll be Casey Brunson, Williamston, North Carolina driver. And row number 3 on the inside in the 50 machine, that'll be Brent Pryor. To his outside, the 21, that'll be Hunter Qualls. And row number 4 on the inside in car number 4, that'll be Tristan Carmen. To his outside, the 22, that'll be JD Sassy. And back there on the inside, outside, row number 5 on the inside, and car number 62, he comes to us out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. That'll be Zach Jenkins. And to his outside, the 421, that'll be Britton Roxbury. Those will be your 10 drivers here in heat race number 2 for server number 2. Last chance for these drivers to make it into the 24-car starting field for the Star Spangled Showdown presented by the South Texas Speedway.
Second of 4 heat races on the Speedway, 8 laps the distance again. Top 2 move on, and Howard Weaver, the Crossville, Tennessee driver, starting on the pole in that beautiful 07, trying to find his way into the main event, and joined on the front row by Krause, North Carolina's Barrett Bishop in car number 3, as, well, actually he's going to have a different car number on there. The trading paint gets me again, as he's going to be, looks like car 96. That's at least what I've got, Tommy. What have you got?
Our number 96. Which driver were we talking about there, right there? I was kind
outside
of
front row, talking about Bishop.
Outside front row, Barrett Bishop in car number 3.
That's
he
right.
is in 96, I do believe. That's what I'm going to call him
Yep.
as well. Car number
All right.
96. Yep, Barrett Bishop.
Well, if we're in agreement on that, we'll both be wrong if it's wrong. But hey, so it's going to be Howard Moore, Barrett Bishop, your front row, as the pace truck should pull to the infield. This time out of turn number 4. 8 laps the distance. Top 2 move on. Everybody else heads off to a last chance showdown. As looking for the green flag at Volusia Speedway Park, and we're underway with heat race number 2.
Howard Weaver on the gas already. He'll lead them down into turn number 1 and 2 as your race leader. They're side by side almost for second. As Barrett Bishop, he'll pull alongside up to position number 2. There's Casey Brunson working the top of the racetrack trying to make a move.
A little beating and banging back in the pack. Everybody gets them straightened out, though. We'll stay clean and green. 1 lap down, 1 lap in the books. 7 laps to go, and it's Howard Weaver, your leader, but Bishop's right there with him, and now Brunson on the move in car number 10. He started 4th. He's up to 3rd. He may not be done there.
Howard Weaver on the bottom of the racetrack may not be the place to be because the cars are right behind him, taking to the top shelf of the racetrack. They get a little bit ahead of steam down the front straightaway. We'll see if they'll hold it down into turn number 1 and 2.
But still Weaver leading the way, working lap number 3. But as you said, Barrett Bishop trying to carve into that lead, doing so ever so slightly. Brunson back in 3rd. Austin Matthews back there in the 4th spot. We come around to complete lap number 3, and the battle for lead getting tighter and tighter as now Howard Weaver's got tons of company side by side for the lead off into turns 1 and 2.
Barrett Bishop goes dancing with Howard Weaver down the back straightaway for the race lead. They're side by side down the back straightaway. Weaver on the bottom. Casey Brunson on the outside looking in as Austin Matthews trying to sneak himself in the picture as well. 4 cars right there together for positions number 1 through 4.
I'm not so sure Casey Brunson doesn't have the fastest car on the racetrack as he's going to go after Howard Weaver. Truck put him in the B main, and he'll take 2nd away down the back straightaway. Brunson up to 2nd. We'll see if he can get to your leader, Barrett Bishop, as they race back now. 5 laps down, 3 laps to go.
Almost 3 wide for the 2nd and final transfer spot. Casey Brunson working the top of the racetrack. Weaver not giving up through the middle. Austin Matthews right there with him as well. 2nd through 4th. Good race on the racetrack. Coming around to 2 laps to go this time.
This has been a good one here in heat race number 2. And now your leader, Barrett Bishop, stretching it out in car number 96 as Brunson comes back under fire from Howard Weaver. That's for the final transfer spot. Austin Matthews right there as well. Only one of those cars will move off to the main event.
Coming out of turn number 3 and 4, they'll see the white flag. This time out of turn number 4, Barrett Bishop holding comfortably in the race lead. But the battle is on for position number 2. Weaver will dive it down into the bottom. Down the back straightaway they go side by side.
Contact between Weaver and Brunson. Brunson up into the fence. Weaver shoots into 2nd. We'll see if Brunson can get back to him through turns 3 and 4. Off of turn number 4. Comfortable win for Barrett Bishop coming home in 2nd. Give it to Howard Weaver. That was a crazy, crazy final lap.
Austin Matthews will move up to position number 3. Casey Brunson will fall back to the 4th place spot. It'll be Barrett Bishop and Howard Weaver taking home the transfer spots in heat race number 2. And what was a good one.
Wow. No shortage of action in that one, and tough break for Brunson. Had a fantastic race car. He and Howard Weaver get together there on the last lap. Weaver gets the transfer spot. Brunson will have to come out of a last chance showdown.
All right, heat race number 3 already out on the racetrack. 10 more drivers trying to punch their ticket into tonight's main events for the Star Spangled Showdown. We'll take 2 from this one, and then we'll take 6 from server number 2 main event coming up in just a little bit. Starting on the front row on the inside, that 9 machine, that'll be Justin Thomas to his outside. And the 13, that'll be DJ Kilinowski. Row number 2 on the inside, the 42, that'll be Virgil Graham to his outside. The 40, that'll be Joshua Langston. Row number 3 on the inside, and that 269 machine, that'll be James Grayson to his outside. In the 20, that'll be Brandon Schmidt. Brandon Schmidt in car number 20, showing up as 32 on my screen. Row number 4 on the inside, and the 85, that'll be Cole Harvey to his outside. In the 66, that'll be James Rotruck. And your 5th and final row here in heat race number 3 on the inside, in car number 6, that'll be Brayton Wallace. And to his outside, the 10th and final starting spot, that'll be Ronald Piles in car number 68.
Well, the bar got set high in that one as things were kind of crazy, definitely, for that last transfer spot. And hopefully that Brunson can race his way in out of a B main because he's got a fast race car, drove a great race. As we're going to take 2 more out of this one, 8 laps the distance, 1 more heat coming up next. And then we'll go into last chance showdown action, then the 35-lap prelim feature, the final prelim of this 2-day event. Take the top 6 out of that, and then the 50-lap finale. So a ton of racing still to go here tonight at Volusia Speedway Park as we get set to go green. Heat Race 3, the Star Spangled Showdown, presented by South Texas Speedway. Pace truck to the infield, green flags out, we're underway.
Indiana on the inside, Illinois on the outside, lead them to the green. It'll be Justin Thomas in car number 9, lead them down the back straightaway. Then DJ Kilinowski, Virgil Graham going at it for position number 2.
Justin Thomas, your leader, but he's got company. It comes in the form of DJ Kilinowski. As Kilinowski going to try the crossover out of turn 4 to the line. Lap number 1, though, will go to Justin Thomas. Virgil Graham back in third, 3 wide for position number 2 as they tiptoe around the high side of a speedway, and caution's going to wave and nullify that great battle.
James Grayson, the 269 machine, little contact, maybe a little help right there from the 85 of Cole Harvey. Gets turned around over at turn number 1 and 2 as we were having a 3-car dance for the 2nd and final transfer spot.
Well, again, fantastic racing. Caution is going to slow that down. As we get them lined back up with a few laps complete in this one.
Once again, caution flags do count, so these drivers going around the racetrack now. Laps are ticking down, so these guys want to see more green flag laps, especially for Brayton Wallace, James Rotruck back there, 7-6, Brandon Schmidt, even Virgil Graham back there in the third place spot. He needs to see some green flag laps to try to get around DJ Kilinowski to make something happen. We'll get set to go back to green. I do believe this time out of turn number 4 as they line back up single file around the Volusia Speedway Park.
So many good cars in this one. And only 2 more are going to move on. Race control calls that a racing incident, so everybody was able to keep going, retains their spot. Tough break. James Grace to the back of the pack after turning around in that one, as trying to get this one back underway as we're approaching the halfway point. Next time by is going to be 4 down, 4 to go. And we'll see if the pace truck pulls in. And no, sir, he's going to stay out there 1 more lap, so that means we're going to have a 3-lap shootout here in heat race number 3 for the top 2 moving on.
A 3-lap dance. Justin Thomas holding on to position number 1. That's Kilinowski, Virgil Graham, Joshua Lawton, Brendan Schmidt, your top 5. James Rotruck, Brayton Wallace, Cole Harvey, Ronald Piles, James Grace rounding out the rest of the field. Coming around to green this time out of turn number 4. Pace truck should be getting ready to pull in. It'll be 5 laps down, 3 laps remaining. 1 more heat race set to come up right after this one.
Car number 9 leads the way in this one. Justin Thomas, the Clinton, Illinois driver in the Mode Media house car. As he gets set to come back to the green flag, pace truck will pull to the infield. We're back underway with just 3 laps remaining. 3 laps to go in this one. DJ Kilinowski on the hot seat. Virgil Graham knocking on the back door. Joshua Lofton back there in position number 4. Those drivers trying to find a way to a top 2 spot as they come back. 2 laps to go this time out of turn 4.
Oko out of turn number 3 and 4 right now, almost nose to tail, single file. Justin Thomas still showing the way. Virgil Graham's going to try to dive it down to the inside. Turn number 1 and 2. 2 more times around the racetrack for Virgil Graham to try to make something happen. But Justin Thomas, he'll come around to see the white flag, this time out of turn number 4.
He'll see the white flag, but he's got company as Kilinowski digging hard in that number 13 car. 1 more time around the speedway. Out front, it continues to be Justin Thomas. Kilinowski trying to hold on to second. Virgil Graham goes to work on him. They'll head down the back straightaway as they race back to the checker, Tommy.
DJ Kilinowski trying to hold on to the second and final transfer spot. Virgil Graham right there. He'll try to truck it on the bottom. Not enough momentum. And it'll be Justin Thomas and DJ Kilinowski taking home the top 2 transfer spots in heat race number 3.
So just like that, heat race 3 in the books. Justin Thomas picks up the win. The Mode Media House sponsored entry out of Clinton, Illinois. Justin Thomas, your winner. DJ Kilinowski comes home in the second spot. The LaSalle, Illinois driver in the Team Friday Dirt All Access 34 Raceway entry as we have 1 more heat to go. Tommy, tell us who's going to be starting where.
All right, row number 1 on the inside. He's starting that white number 34 machine. Looks like it has a for sale sign on the side of that race car. That'll be Trent Beaver. To his outside in car number 19. That'll be Garrett Nieberger. Row number 2 on the inside in car number 74B in the iRacing iFlag Team VLR entry. That'll be Blake Brown. To his outside in the 21. That'll be Troy Dow. Road number 3 on the inside in the 03 machine. That'll be Dylan Thomas, and to his outside in car number 20. That'll be Ryan Gaunt. Road number 4 on the inside in the 118 machine. That'll be Joshua Hessen, and to his outside in the 54. That'll be Tyler Hargrove. And all back there by his lonesome in car number 17 inside row number 5. That'll be Brett Rawls. Those will be your 9 drivers here in the 4th and final heat race for server number 2 here on night number 2. For the preliminary events, this will wrap it up right here. We'll get in the last chance qualifiers in our sub-feature number 2. We'll take the top 6 drivers to get our 24-car starting grid for tonight's Star Spangled Showdown presented by the South Texas Speedway.
Well, Illinois just took the last heat race win, and now the Big Ten trying to stand tall in this one is Iowa's Garrett Nieberger starting outside of row number 2. He's got Trent Beaver outside of row number 1, I should say, in the second spot. He's got Trent Beaver to his inside. That race car is for sale, Tommy, and I understand he takes cash only, so you might want to think about that one if you want to improve your standings within the modified ranks. Clearly a fast race car. Just think what you could do behind the wheel of it.
Absolutely. Probably got a few lessons he could probably teach me right there. We got another Iowa driver on the inside of row number 2 with Blake Brown, Des Moines, Iowa driver, in the iRacing iFlag entry. It seems like everybody that's from Iowa is on Team VLR right now. But nonetheless, we're getting set to go green. I do believe this time out of turn number 4, Trent Beaver, Garrett Nieberger set to lead him back to the green this time.
8 laps the distance, 2 to the feature. After this, we'll move off to 2 last chance showdowns. So this is the final heat of this event. Beaver and Nieberger on the front row. Pace truck pulls it infield, green flag is out, and Trent Beaver gets a great start in car number 34. Nieberger now going to try to power to his outside through turns 1 and 2, and he will do that. Garrett Nieberger shoots to the lead out of 2 down the back straightaway, and now more company as they go 3 wide for the lead off into 3 and 4.
Pair of VLR cars trying to make it 1-2 right now as Garrett Nieberger, he works to position number 1, Blake Brown. He'll dive up into position number 2. A lot of contact with Beaver right there, and Beaver is upside down.
It looked like for a minute he might be able to save it, but then more contact puts him on his lid, and tough break there for Trent Beaver as your pole sitter out of this one on lap number 1.
It's like him and Blake Brown getting it together right there, making a little bit of contact, and Beaver upside down, nowhere to go. And his race may be done here in heat race number 4.
So tough break there for Trent Beaver, another one of those South Texas Speedway drivers out of this one. And we want to thank all the fine folks at South Texas Speedway for being the presenting sponsor of this event and all they do to support racing, both in the virtual and the real world. Great supporters of racing. We appreciate their fantastic support of the Star Spangled Showdown. And good luck to all their drivers the remainder of tonight, as somebody is going to leave here with $500 cold hard cash by the time this checkered flag drops on the finale later this evening.
$3,200 in cash and prizes on the line. We want to thank everybody involved with it. I do believe there's also an award for the best paint scheme out there as well. I'm not sure who it's voted out there on, but if you, the viewers out there, want to give in your input of who may have the best looking paint scheme throughout the night here, let us know out there on Facebook, and we'll get it back to whoever's making the vote on that. And maybe that can be some influence on who takes home that win for the best paint scheme. But nonetheless, we're going to set it to rack them and stack them, maybe go green, maybe next time out of turn number 4, as they're not appearing to be in much of a hurry just yet.
Well, it's nothing fancy, but you know what? I'm going to give Trent Beaver mine because for just originality of the for sale paint scheme, you got to love that. It's probably the best one I've seen so far. Nothing fancy, but the for sale sign on the side, it's a car you're going to remember.
Absolutely. And it'll definitely just a little bit of a contingency prize for unfortunate circumstances right there, maybe, is that may not sell too well now is upside down.
Yeah, that's the question. Is it actually cheaper now, Tommy, now that it's been crashed? That's the question.
They usually
Base
are.
truck to the infield. Yes, sir, they are. Base truck to the infield, green flags there. We're back underway. 3 laps to go with Nieberger, your leader, right in the second spot. Blake Brown, a couple of Iowa drivers leading the way. And now Blake Brown looks to the inside of Nieberger as they head off into turn number 3. That's your battle for the lead, car 19 and car 74.
LR drivers going at it right now for positions number 1 and 2 as Dylan Thomas, he holds on to the 3rd spot, working to the outside of the racetrack. As Thomas, he'll move up along the backside of the 74 of Blake Brown, trying to work on him, the second and final transfer spot. Coming around to the white flag this time, one more time around the racetrack.
Garrett Nieberger, your leader in car number 19. He's got company from car number 74 of Blake Brown. Brown's got less than 1 lap to figure it out. Dylan Thomas really running out of time because right now he's in 3rd in that beautiful 0-3 car as they head down the back straightaway. Final time into turns 3 and 4.
Final time into turn number 3 and 4, side by side for the race lead. It'll be Garrett Nieberger on the outside, powering to the race win. Blake Brown second, Dylan Thomas, Ryan Gott, Troy Dow rounded out your top 5 here in the 4th and final heat race in server number 2. And we'll get set to move it over to last chance qualifier number 1.
Congrats to Garrett Nieberger taking the win in heat race number 4, the Davenport, Iowa driver, and the Team VLR iRacing iFlag Schaefer's Oil number 19. And also want to give a shout out to Ryan Martin from Restream with his assistance with the event here tonight. So many great folks helping make this all possible.
All right, moving pretty quickly right now over to last chance qualifier number 1. We're going to have 2 last chance qualifiers in our sub-feature number 2. Top 8 drivers from each of these last chance qualifiers. We'll move over into sub-feature number 2, where we'll take the top 6 drivers from there to make up your 24-car starting field. The Star Spangled Showdown, and we'll go ahead and read out the starting lineup for Last Chance Qualifier number 1. Row number 1 on the inside, the 28 machine, that'll be Trevor Fitz, and to his outside, the 42 will be Virgil Graham. Row number 2 on the inside, the 57, that'll be Ryan Diatti, and to his outside, in the 40, that'll be Joshua Lawton. Row number 3 on the inside in car number 91, that'll be Jarrett Maupin, and to his outside in car number 20, that'll be Brandon Schmidt. Drew Hopkins in the 157, he'll be the inside of row number 4, to his outside in the 66, that'll be James Rotruck. And row number 5 on the inside, car number 25, that'll be Jarrett Murphy, to his outside in car number 6, that'll be Brayton Wallace. And row number 6 on the inside in car number 112, that'll be Devin Morgan, to his outside in the 85, that'll be Cole Harvey. Bryson Daffron, he'll be the inside of row number 7, to his outside in the 269, that'll be James Grace. Row number 8 on the inside, the 09, will be Cody Turchi, and to his outside in car number 68, that'll be Ronald Piles. And your 17th and final starter here in Last Chance Qualifier number 1 in car number 61, that'll be Jonathan Lampman. 17 drivers, 15 laps to distance, top 8 will transfer into sub-feature number 2.
This is the last chance for these guys. If you're not in the top 8, your event is over, and a lot of good cars trying to get into those positions as we get set to go green with this one. First of 2 last chance showdowns, pace truck into the infield. Green flag is up. Trevor Fitz on the loud pedal, and the California driver is going to take us off into turns 1 and 2 and tow Eldred, Pennsylvania's Virgil Graham in car 42.
Trevor Fitz will lead him down the back straightaway here in Last Chance Qualifier number 1, server number 2. Most of these guys have been racing 2 nights of racing, trying to make it worth it to get in one of those top 8 spots in sub-feature number 2. But nonetheless, Trevor Fitz, he'll lead lap number 1. It's Virgil Graham, Ryan Diatti now your top 3, Joshua Lawton, Jarrett Maupin, Drew Hopkins, your top 6 drivers.
That's your top 6 as they run right now. Racetrack right now widening out nicely. 2-3 good grooves back through the pack. Working lap number 3 into turn number 1 with Trevor Fitz out front. Virgil Graham tracking him down to the 2nd spot, and then back in 3rd, Ryan Diatti running the cushion in car 57. He'll get a big run off into turns 3 and 4. We'll see if the 57's got anything for your leaders as they come around to complete lap number 3.
Good race back here for the 8th and final transfer spot right now. The 112 of Devin Morgan, the 25 of Jarrett Murphy going at it. Murphy currently holding on to the 8th and final transfer spot on the outside as Morgan looks on the inside for it, as that's 8th and 9th right now around the racetrack, coming around to 4 laps complete this time.
4 laps complete, and now Virgil Graham, the Pennsylvania driver, is going to go to work on the cushion as he comes after Trevor Fitz. He followed him around the middle of the track for a while, and now Graham, he heard Diatti out there to his outside. Just as I say that, Fitz goes to the high side, Graham ducks back to the inside. A little cat and mouse between your top 2 cars. Who's your leader that time by? It is going to be Trevor Fitz, but Virgil Graham are right there with him. And now Graham to the lead out of turn 2, Tommy.
Virgil Graham, maybe a little contact right there with Trevor Fitz. That'll allow Diatti to come back on the inside once again. 3 wide for the race lead. Ooh, big slide job for Trevor Fitz on Virgil Graham all over the nose of the 42 machine.
Somebody tell these guys, 8 cars move on. If you're in the top 3, don't take each other out. As Graham and Fitz really going at it there. Now Graham back to the 3rd spot, Fitz into the lead. Diatti in 2nd. In the 4th spot, it's going to be Lawton. In 5th, Maupin. 6th will be Schmidt. 7th, Hopkins. Jarrett Murphy right now on that 8th and final transfer. Next time by, we'll be halfway.
Little difference of racing styles than we saw in server number 1. Most of the drivers in the LCQs are content on running single file to get to that that's a main server, but these guys 3 and 4 wide back here for 3rd on back right now, beating and banging all over the place.
3 wide right now for position at number 4, as around the high side of a speedway. Good battle back there with Jared Maupin riding the high side, and caution is out, Tommy. Caution on the speedway as we complete lap number 9.
And that'll be on Devin Morgan, who is running for that 8th and final transfer spot. Just gets up into the cushion. A little too high on the racetrack, all by his lonesome, and into the wall, and upside down he goes. Unfortunately for Devin Morgan in car number 112, his night comes to an abrupt end here on lap number 9.
It's been another entertaining last chance showdown so far. Looks like by the time we get back green, there's going to be 4, maybe 3 laps left. We'll see how it shakes down. 8 cars move on. Trevor Fitz, your leader. Ryan Diatti in 2nd. Third will be Virgil Graham. Fourth will be Jared Maupin. Fifth, Joshua Lawton. Sixth, Brandon Schmidt. Seventh, Drew Hopkins. And Jarrett Murphy in car number 25. He rides in that final transfer spot. So right now he is the marked man, the driver out of Rensselaer, Indiana, in iRacing iFlag, car 25.
Jarrett Murphy definitely a target on his back, as you guys got guys like Brayton Wallace, Cole Harvey, Bryce Daffrin, Cody Turchi all on the outside looking in, and they're going to have a lot to say as we're coming up to the final stages of Last Chance Qualifier number 1 as we get set to re-rack them, restack them. Do believe we're going to go around the racetrack one more time, as these guys are not in a big of a hurry just yet. So we'll be probably coming to green. It'll be about 3 laps to go for Trevor Fitz, who's your race leader.
How about Trevor Fitz and Virgil Graham? Those two guys in the show battling for the lead and leaning hard on each other. And I kind of think they lost focus a little bit that, hey, the top 8 move on out of this one. Make sure you're in it and not in the infield.
Definitely would have probably been on both of those guys' minds if they would have took one another out running for first and second, when all you got to do is basically just hold your line and hold on to it and get these few laps in to transfer over to sub-feature number 2. That's when you want to start racing for those top 6 spots. Right now is not the time to do it. You just want to make sure you get into that sub-feature number 2.
Pace truck pulls to the infield. 3 laps to go. Top 8 move on. Everybody else transfers to the trailer as Fitz rolls off into 1 and 2 right through the middle of the racetrack. Virgil Graham will work the low groove up top. It'll be Ryan Diotti out of 2 down the back straightaway. In the 4 spot now, Maupin. Schmidt rounds out your top 5.
Jarrett Murphy still holding on to that 8th and final transfer spot on the outside of the racetrack as Drew Hopkins, a little bit of contact right there. Murphy into the wall. We stay green, but now Drew Hopkins will move up to position number 7 with Brayton Wallace up to position number 8, the final transfer spot. And here comes Cole Harvey with a big move.
Battle picking up at the front of the pack as the white flag waves one more time around the speedway in this one. Your leader continues to be Trevor Fitz. He's got company there. Here comes Ryan Diotti to his inside. Graham back in 3rd. They're side by side for the lead. They'll race off into 3 and 4 for the final time.
Final time for the 8th and final transfer spot. Gloves are off in the back, and Cole Harvey, he'll take home the 8th and final transfer spot as Trevor Fitz will pick up the win. Diotti 2nd. Virgil Graham, Jarrett Maupin, Brandon Schmidt, Joshua Lawton, Drew Hopkins, and Cole Harvey will be your 8 transfers here in Last Chance Qualifier number 1. Still one more LCQ coming up right after this one.
Camarillo, California's Trevor Fitz takes the win, and as Tommy said, Ryan Diotti, Virgil Graham, Jared Maupin, Brandon Schmidt, Josh Lawton, Drew Hopkins, and Cole Harvey. Those 8 move on. Everybody else done for the event.
All right, Last Chance Qualifier number 2, the final Last Chance Qualifier of the event before we get set to go with sub-feature number 2. And once again, 15 drivers set to take the grid here in Last Chance Qualifier number 2. And starting on the front row on the inside in car number 0, that'll be Austin Matthews. To his outside, and in car number 03, that'll be Dylan Thomas. Row number 2 on the inside in car number 10, that'll be Casey Brutson. To his outside in car number 20, that'll be Ryan Gaunt. Row number 3 on the inside in car number 50, that'll be Brent Pryor. To his outside in car number 21, that'll be Troy Dow. Row number 4 on the inside in car number 4, that'll be Tristan Carmen. And to his outside in the 118 machine, that'll be Joshua Hessen. Row number 5 on the inside in car number 421, that'll be Britton Roxbury. To his outside in car number 54, that'll be Tyler Hargrove. Row number 6 on the inside, the 22 machine, that'll be JD Sass. And to his outside in car number 17, that'll be Brett Rawls. Zach Jenkins, he'll be in the inside of row number 7 in car number 62. And to his outside in the 34, that car is for sale. Big crash earlier on, that'll be Trent Beaver. And shotgun on the field all by his lonesome in car number 21. That'll be Hunter Qualls. Those are your 15 drivers here in the second and final Last Chance Qualifier in server number 2. Sub-feature number 2 coming up right after this. All right, these drivers will pace around the racetrack one more time before we turn them loose. It'll be Austin Matthews in that 0 machine. And Dylan Thomas in the 0-3 sets to lead him back to the green. Austin Matthews, Dexter, Missouri driver. And Dylan Thomas, Denison, Texan driver on the outside. Let's lead him back to the green, this time out of turn number 4.
Final last chance showdown of the night. Preliminary feature coming up next. Then we go off to the big show, what everybody came to see. The inaugural Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. Right now, we're last chance showdown number 2, the second final of the event. As we go green out of turn number 4. And Austin Matthews jumping out to the lead. As we work off into turns 1 and 2, side by side behind your leaders. Dylan Thomas back there, Casey Brunson. He had a fast car in his heat race. Bad luck on the final lap cost him the transfer. Trying to get the second spot as he works off into turn number 4. He'll let it slide up to the fence. Lap number 1, count it, to Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews will hold on to the lead, and here comes the 0-3 up. Dylan Thomas sliding back up in front of Brunson down the back straightaway. Brunson will fall back to third, and they're side by side for fourth. Make that 3 wide for third now with Ryan Gaunt and Brent Pryor in the picture. We have a caution out on the racetrack.
Caution early in this one with 2 laps complete. 2 laps complete, and the caution waves.
All right, Angry Beaver, Trent Beaver back there spinning it around with the 22 of JD Sass as well. And Hanover Record Service getting in some overtime this evening here at the Volusia Speedway Park, as those two guys will re-rack them, restack them, and try to get one more time.
Tommy, I know you wanted to buy that 34 car, but I don't feel too good about it anymore. It's been upside down. It's had more contact. There's got to be something bent. There's a bent clip on that race car. I'm going to say I'd stay away from it.
Yeah, I'd have to avoid it as well. It was really fast early on, but I would not trust it anymore. But we'll see.
Unless the price is right. It might be a right price. It might fit into your budget. You don't know.
It's quite possible. We'll see. He's got plenty of laps to prove me wrong, but I'll probably have to stay away from that one.
Well, sometimes once the race car gets bent, it really handles right. So we're about to find out. We're going to come back around this time. 4 laps down. Austin Matthews, Dylan Thomas, Casey Brunson, Ryan Gaunt, Brent Pryor, Troy Dow, Tristan Carman, and Britton Roxbury. That's your top 8 as they run with 8 cars moving on to this main event here tonight. Everybody else done for the night. Should go green next time by, as we'll come around with 5 in the books next time. 10 laps to go. 10 laps to get into one of those top 8 positions.
10 laps to go in that big purple car, 421 machine. He'll have a big target on his back, as he'll have about 8 drivers right behind him looking for that 8th and final transfer spot. As Zach Jenkins, Joshua Hessen, Hunter Qualls, J.D. Sass, Trent Beaver, Tyler Hargrove all on the outside looking in at the moment as we get set to go back to green right here at a turn number 4 to be Austin Matthews. Dylan Thomas sets to lead him back to the green as your front row right here.
Looking to see that pace truck duck into the infield. It will. And we've got 10 laps to go. 10 laps remaining. Austin Matthews back on the loud pedal. Takes him off into turns 1 and 2. The Show Me State driver showing the way early in this one. And it's now the 0-3 of Dylan Thomas. Climbs into the second spot, working that high groove. And he's got Brunson right behind him. Good battles back to the pack as they go 3 wide.
3 wide for third, 3 wide right behind them as well. 3 by 3. Just a couple of rows deep around the racetrack, kind of looking like Talladega at the moment as Troy Dow trying to split the middle, move up to position number 3. Roxbury, he falls back to 10th with Joshua Hessen moving back on the inside for position number 8. Zach Jenkins now making it 4 wide for the 8th and final transfer spot.
Troy Dow back there in the 4 spot. Real World Crate late model driver in car number 21. And he climbs up into position at number 4, normally in a black diamond chassis. But here tonight, running the dirt car modified rings. One of the divisions he got his start in, started in that, as well as wingless sprint cars. And right now he rides in 4th behind Casey Brunson, Dylan Thomas, and your leader, Austin Matthews. 5th, Brent Pryor. 6th, Ryan Gaunt. 7th, Tristan Carman. And 8th, Joshua Hessen.
Good battle for the 8th and final transfer spot still going on back here. The 118 of Joshua Hessen on the inside and the purple and yellow. And Britton Roxbury on the outside, the purple and black machine. A couple of Barney the Dinosaur cars going at it back here for the 8th and final transfer spot. And as I say that, we have another caution out on the racetrack.
And it looks like it's going to be the 22 car drawing the caution.
And J.D. Sass coming up into the 54, I do believe. That's Tyler Hargrove, and Sass Goes around, whips it around. He'll retag the rear of the field as the laps are ticking down here in last chance qualifier number 2. Once again, top 8 drivers will make it to sub-feature number 2. We'll take the top 6 from there for tonight's big show.
This time by, they'll complete lap 11 of this 15-lapper with Austin Matthews your leader, Dylan Thomas second, Casey Brunson third, Troy Dow in fourth, Ryan Gaunt in fifth, and Brent Pryor, Tristan Carman, and Britton Roxbury at 8th and final transfers. He rides right now out of Clinton, Tennessee. East Tennessee driver, and it seems like Roxbury's had bullseye on his back this whole last chance showdown, Tommy, as he's been in that 8th and final transfer spot throughout.
They've been 3-4 wide back there for the 8th and final transfer spot. Joshua Hessen giving everything he has as they'll go back single file. KT King, the VLR administrator, telling these guys double files did not work. They're going to try it single file. I do believe next time out of turn number 4 as we wrap up this Hanover Record Service caution and last chance qualifier number 2. It'll be Austin Matthews leading back to the green. Dylan Thomas, Casey Brunson, Troy Dow, Ryan Gaunt, your top 5. Brent Pryor, Tristan Carman, Britton Roxbury, your remaining top 8 drivers transferring over to sub-feature number 2 if they can hold on to it. We'll get set to go green this time out of turn number 4.
Joshua Hessen and Brett Rolls outside looking in right now as they ride in 9th and 10th. We'll have a green-white checkered finish as we come back. We come back to 2 laps to go, assuming the pace truck pulls in this time. And do believe he is going to, and yes sir, he will. 2 laps to decide it. Top 8 off to the preliminary feature. Back underway, Tommy.
Austin Matthews on the gas already. He'll lead him down into turn number 1 and 2. Then it's Dylan Thomas, Casey Brunson, Troy Dow, your top 4 drivers. They're side by side for 5th and 6th down the back straightaway as well. And still Tristan Carman, Britt Roxbury pulling away from Hessen now as they come around to get the white flag this time.
White flag in there one more time around the speedway for Austin Matthews and the rest of the field as they navigate through turns 1 and 2. Dylan Thomas looks to the inside of Matthews. Nothing there as they work down the backstretch.
Really surprised these drivers are racing as hard as they are back here for positions number 7th and 8th, but nonetheless, coming out of turn number 4, it'll be Austin Matthews with a win here in last chance qualifier number 2. Dylan Thomas second, Casey Brunson, Troy Dow, Ryan Gaunt, Brent Pryor, Roxbury, and Tristan Carman will round out the top 8 qualifiers.
So those 8 drivers will move off to the preliminary feature. Then we're getting ready to go 35 laps. Top 6 will lock into the big show as we've got just 2 races left here in the inaugural Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. A little bit of warm-ups on the Speedway, Tommy, and then we're going to get set to go at it. 35 laps to determine who the final 6 starters will be.
Another who's who of drivers here in server number 2 for the main event. This could be an all-star field anywhere you go with an iRacing series. But nonetheless, this will be only server number 2. We'll stack them up, take 6 drivers, and they'll make up to your 24-car starting field later on tonight for the Star Spangled Showdown, presented by the South Texas Speedway here at TeamVLR.com. I want to thank each and every one of the race fans for tuning in here tonight live on the TeamVLR.com Facebook page. Hit the like button, hit the share button. We're getting set to go. 2 more races left to go, and this will be a good one.
2 more to go, and if you're watching this live broadcast on the Team VLR Facebook page, let us know who you think's going to win tonight. Who's going to take that $500 top prize a little bit later? Would love to know some of your thoughts, and we appreciate everybody tuning in and watching here tonight. As again, a little bit of warm-up laps for your feature grid, and then we're going to roll them off. 24 cars, 35 laps for this final prelim leading up to the big finale.
Mentions are flying here in the chat rooms. Don't want to say what anybody's saying out there, but definitely a heated emotions going on after those 2 nights of hard racing.
I think that gentleman was talking to you, Tommy, and I don't think that's very nice. No, clearly he was not talking to you, but it seemed funnier that he might be talking to you.
Definitely not, but definitely
12 exclamation points drive the point home like nothing else. I want to throw that out there.
Absolutely. If you don't get the 12 exclamation points later that somebody's not happy, and just don't understand people.
Hey, man, people are passionate about this. There's big money on the line. I get it. People are fired up. I fully understand, Tommy, as the feature grid is starting to take form.
I've definitely seen drivers fight for a lot worse, that's for sure. All right, 24 drivers getting set to go here in sub-feature number 2 to crown the top 6 spots for the last 6 spots of the VLR Star Spangled Showdown main event coming up right after this. We got 35 laps set to go and 24 drivers. Get the set to grid up. We'll go and tell you how they'll line up. Starting on the front row on the inside. And the 49 machine here tonight, that'll be the Holomaniac David Heileman. To his outside. And car number 3, I do believe that's here tonight. Actually, I do believe he's in a 96. We had that discussion earlier on. It'll be Barrett Bishop. Row number 2 on the inside. And car number 9, that'll be Justin Thomas. And to his outside. And car number 19, it'll be Garrett Nieberger. Row number 3, back there on the inside in the 999 machine. That'll be Dylan Fox to his outside. And the 07, that'll be Howard Weaver. Row number 4 on the inside in car number 13. That'll be GJ Kalinowski to his outside in car number 74. That'll be Blake Brown. Row number 5 on the inside in car number 28. That'll be Trevor Fitz into his outside in the 0 machine. That'll be Austin Matthews. Ryan Diatti, he'll start on the inside of row number 6 in car number 57 into his outside in the 03. That will be Dylan Thomas. Row number 7 on the inside in car number 42. That'll be Virgil Graham into his outside in the 10 machine. That'll be Casey Brunson. Barrett Moppin, he'll start on the inside of row number 8 in car number 91 into his outside in car number 21. That'll be Troy Dow. Brandon Smith, he'll start on the inside of row number 9 in car number 20 into his outside in car number 20. That'll be Ryan Gott. Joshua Lawton, he'll start the inside of row number 10 with the 50 of Brent Pryor. Drew Hopkins on the 157. Britton Roxbury will be the inside-outside row number 11. And row number 12 on the inside in the 85 will be Cole Harvey. And starting dead last on the field, outside of row number 12 and car number 4, that'll be Tristan Carmen. Those will be your 24 drivers here in sub-feature number 2 for the VLR Star Spangled Showdown.
24 cars going at it, 35 laps, top 6 move off to the big finale. Coming up right after this one, pace truck to the infield, green flags out. We're underway at Volusia Speedway Park as they race off into turns 1 and 2. Heileman heads to the low side. He'll be your leader. Nieberger digging on the top side. He goes around Justin Thomas from a second spot down the back straightaway. Now 3 wide for second as they race around to complete lap number 1.
I just want to give a big shout-out, tough break for Barrett Bishop and car number 3. Worked all weekend to try to make something happen. He starts on the front one on the outside, misses the start, so he will not grid up for feature number 2 as we had big contact with Howard Weaver, who went to the wall. He falls all the way back to position number 16 as we come around to complete lap number 2.
And Garrett Nieberger, now caution's going to fly. Nieberger went all the way to dead last after getting caught up in that melee. Tough break for some front runners in this one as caution flies, working lap number 3.
And the caution flag does come out here on the Speedway. 2 laps down, 33 laps left to go. Caution flags do count in these sub-features right here. Barrett Bishop, 2 laps down here on the Speedway. He's worked very hard all night long and last night as well to get himself in a great spot to make the big main event, and he misses the start after getting disconnected through the server. Tough break for that guy, but nonetheless, back up front, David Heileman, the Holomaniac, leading the way with Dylan Fox on the outside, Justin Thomas, Blake Brown, Trevor Fitz, Ryan Diatti, your 6 drivers. That would be the transfer spots right now. Still a long, long way to go here at Volusia. All right, we're going to re-rack, restack down the back straight away. I do believe they'll pace around the racetrack one more time before we turn them loose. They should be coming to the green next time out of turn number 4. They'll be 6 laps down, 29 to go. We turn them loose next time out of turn number 4.
Well, some good cars. We talked about getting caught up in that with Nieberger and Howard Weaver. Contact past the flag stand there, working lap number 2. And that shuffles things up a bit. Again, only 6 drivers move on. And right now that's Heileman, Fox, Thomas, Blake Brown, Trevor Fitz, and Ryan Diatti rides back in the 6th spot. Behind them, Dylan Thomas. How about Troy Dow on the move, 16th to 8th? Casey Brunson 14th to 9th, and as we said, Dylan Thomas outside looking in 12th to 7th. Diotti's come 11th to 6th as there's been some major guys making some moves.
Major guys making some moves and some major guys going to the back as well. Garrett Nieberger started 4th, back down in dead last in position 23. Harold Weaver started 6th, back in 15th as we go back green here on lap number 6.
A couple of VLR guys getting together. Tough break there as we're back underway. Working lap number 7 out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. And Heileman, your leader. The Wisconsin driver in second, Dylan Fox, and the 999. Those two were mixing it up earlier tonight, and they found themselves back together as they lead around in all Wisconsin at top 2 spots right now with 7 laps complete, working lap 8.
Good battle right now for the 6th and final transfer spot. Dylan Thomas looking on the inside for position number 6. Make that 3 wide now with Blake Brown, who runs in position number 5. Dylan Thomas going to try to pass 2 cars in one turn as they come around to complete lap number 8.
Well, at this point in the last feature in server 1, a lot of guys were headed to the top. And this one, a majority of guys trying the bottom, although Dylan Fox in the second spot, he's trying the middle to the top side. And as I say that as well, David Heileman lets it drift to the wall of turn number 4. Much better racetrack we're seeing in this server than we had in the first one tonight. As we work lap number 10 through turns 1 and 2, your top 6, David Heileman, Dylan Fox, Trevor Fitz, Justin Thomas, Dylan Thomas, and Ryan Diotti. That's your top 6 early in this one.
Dylan Thomas in that 03 machine, he hasn't been afraid to use that right rear quarter panel to this point. He's moved himself up into the top 5 right now. And now Blake Brown and Ryan Diotti find themselves on the bubble, battling it out. Diotti works the top of the racetrack. He'll pull back to the 6th and final transfer spot down the back straightaway.
Guys making moves early in this one as we close in on halfway. Your top 2 way up on the cushion out of turn number 4. They'll head up into 1 and 2. They'll enter it on the bottom, let it drift up to the fence off of 4. Actually, they'll keep it right in the middle that time into the dog leg down the back straightaway. As we talked about last night, Volusia Speedway Park actually shaped like a D, the only true straightaway. On the front, the back is one big turn. And that's where you see a lot of passes made, because if guys can navigate that, they can make up a lot of speed as the battle for the lead's getting tighter and tighter, Tommy.
Dylan Fox, he'll go down the back straightaway on the inside, pull alongside. David Heileman may have the clear in turn number 3. He does. We'll see if Heileman will go back down to the bottom, cross him back over. They're side by side, but Dylan Fox will have the momentum into turn number 1.
13 laps in the books, 22 to go, and you have a new leader. Dylan Fox leads the way. The Plymouth, Wisconsin driver. Milwaukee, Wisconsin's David Heileman back in second. Justin Thomas rides back in the 3rd spot, the Illinois racer, as we complete lap number 14. Clicking off laps here early in this one. The final preliminary feature with the top 6 moving on.
Ryan Diotti, he'll go all the way up to the top of the racetrack. He's one of those few drivers committed to running the top of the racetrack, as they were doing in server number 1 earlier on tonight. He's running in the top 5 right now, looking for position number 4 over teammate Trevor Fitz.
Diotti with a little bit ahead of steam. He'll pull up even with Fitz for the 4th spot as they work through turns 1 and 2. We'll see what he can do down the dog leg out of 2 down the back straightaway. The bottom just a little bit better than the top on the exit of 2. Meanwhile, back in the 6th spot, it's still going to be Dylan Thomas, as he would love to get around Diotti to get a little bit of breathing room as we complete lap number 15. 15 down, 20 laps remain.
Dylan Thomas holding on to the 6th place position right now with Blake Brown, Jarrett Mopp, and Troy Dow on the outside looking in, as those 3 drivers are all right there together as well. But Dylan Fox, he stretched his lead to just about a half a second over David Heileman, who still sits in position number 2. Then it's Justin Thomas, Brian Diotti, Trevor Fitz. Dylan Thomas, still your top 6 drivers right now.
Justin Thomas trying to keep Diotti behind him, as Diotti taking a peek to the inside of the 9 car. The 9 car letting it wash wide through the middle of the corners. That opens the door for Justin Thomas, who works the low line. Excuse me, for Diotti that works the low line through. They're now off into turns 1 and 2, and it's going to be Diotti going to the cushion. Good battles back in the pack, but they're getting stretched out in this one right now as we're past the halfway mark.
And Blake Brown still the man trying to challenge for that 6th and final transfer spot. Dylan Thomas just a little bit stronger of a race car right now, running just about two different lines right now. Dylan Thomas going in a little bit wider. But Dylan Fox still stretching the lead. His lead is almost 0.8 of a second now, coming around to complete lap number 20.
Dylan Thomas in that 6th and final transfer spot now with about a 0.3 of a second advantage over Blake Brown. Brown trying to reel him in right behind Brown. It's going to be Troy Dowd, Jared Maupin. Those guys all starting to run out of time as we're past the halfway mark, this time out of turn number 4. 21 laps will be complete, only 14 laps to go. And Dylan Fox letting her eat out front in the 999.
Ryan Deanna, he's pretty fast right now on the top of the racetrack. Nowhere near as Dylan Fox fast right now. He's about a 10-second quicker than everybody on the racetrack. But still, Ryan Deanna still showing good speed out on the racetrack, trying to challenge for position number 3. And as I say that, with a caution out on the racetrack, may have been Casey Brunson in car number 2.
Well, that caution is going to erase these deficits. It's going to double them up, and we'll go back green with roughly 10 to 11 laps remaining, and it's going to make it very interesting, especially for these guys in the final transfer spots. They're going to have to drive very smart on the restarts and hope that they don't get roughed up from the guys around them.
A couple of drivers competing for transfer spots. Blake Brown, Jarrett Maupin, also Howard Weaver may have gotten some contact from that previous caution right there. We'll take a look and see what happened. As contact with Maupin, Brown, and Dow sends all those guys around. Big mess in the back of the field. Nonetheless, we're 23 laps down, 12 laps to go. And then we'll move on to the big main event for the Star Spangled Showdown. It's Dylan Fox showing the way. David Heileman, Ryan Deanna, Justin Thomas, Trevor Fitz, and Dylan Thomas now, your top 6 drivers. Virgil Graham now the man on the outside looking in.
And for that melee, Troy Dowd sent to the back of the pack, so he gets the end-of-line penalty. It's a tough break for the Tennessee racer trying to get into this one tonight. Dylan Fox, the 2019 Spring Fling winner, $3,000 he pocketed for that one. I've had many of real-world race fan and racer ask me, did you really announce a video game where somebody won $3,000? I mean, that really opened a lot of eyes, you know, over $12,000 in total payout. And it really set the benchmark for what could possibly be to come for iRacing, especially in this dirt expansion.
Absolutely. This has been one of the coolest things I've been a part of, and it's gotten bigger and bigger each and every year. And usually our Spring Fling event is our biggest event every year, and this modified event is right behind it as well. We got some couple of more big events coming up throughout the year. Stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, Pace Truck getting set to pull in. We're getting there to go back green here in sub-feature number 2 as Dylan Fox back on the gas. He'll show the way. They're side by side for a second now. Justin Thomas knocking on the door of David Heileman.
10 laps remain, 10 to go as we work lap 26, and Fox was shot out of a cannon on that restart as he's got a half a straightaway lead behind him. Heileman and Thomas going at it for the second spot. 26 laps down, 9 more times around the Speedway.
Restart did not benefit the 0-3 of Dylan Thomas. He falls on the outside looking in position number 7 as Virgil Graham finds himself up into the top 5 now as they go at it 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now here comes Howard Weaver, Trevor Fitz all involved as well. Dylan Thomas still hanging on to that 6th and final transfer spot, but not by much. Here comes everybody.
What a battle. Where do you go? There's guys in 4 different grooves right now as they work down the back straightaway. Dylan Thomas trying to hold on to it in the 0-3, but he's got tons of company. Meanwhile, the other Dylan Fox driving away from him out front as we complete lap number 28.
7 laps to go. This is getting pretty hectic back here for the 6th and final transfer spot. Definitely a lot of fun to watch, though. Jared Maupin in the 91. He's holding on to the 6th and final transfer spot. How about 4 wide for position number 5?
You got to think at some point this is going to go bad in a big kind of way, and they beat Bang off the corner just like that. As Dylan Thomas trying to race his way. He goes from 7th to 4th in one corner because they were all getting together around him. So he was out of the show to firmly in the show. Now it's Dylan Fox, your leader, Justin Thomas in 2nd, Heileman, Dylan Thomas, Virgil Graham, Jared Maupin, and Howard Weaver outside looking in. Back there in 7th, we've got just 5 laps to go.
Best battle on the racetrack, definitely. These final 6 drivers trying to transfer their way into the show. Heileman now falls all the way back to 5th as Virgil Graham, he falls himself on the bubble. And here comes Howard Weaver on the outside, as well as Ryan Deanna, who was once up to position number 4, working the top of the racetrack. 5 cars dancing. Who wants the 6th and final transfer spot?
Right now it's Heileman with the final spot. I'm not convinced all these guys are going to finish. There's a lot of beating and banging, a lot of guys jockeying for position. They know it's go time. Hold on to it as Virgil Graham and Heileman go at it. Heileman goes way up the Speedway, and now look out. They're going to stack up down the front straightaway. Oh, we got them airborne. 2, 3, 4 cars all together.
Howard Weaver, Brendan Smith, and a couple of others involved. Looks like Schmidt may have took the worst aware of that. We got about 4 or 5 cars over there involved. Troy Dow involved as well. Brandon Schmidt with a heavy damage on that race car. Hard hit after the contact with Howard Weaver. And the 40 got him as well. And laps are ticking down here. They have a green-white checkered problem.
Tommy.
Oh, absolutely.
Tommy, you knew that was coming. They were 4 and 5 wide, and nobody was given a half an inch. Forget giving an inch. Nobody was going to give half an inch. And this is going to set up a green-white checkered finale for what has been an entertaining preliminary feature.
Last 6 spots on the line. Gloves are off. And it's going to be an all-out brawl for this 6th and final transfer spot. Dylan Fox, I'm almost confident that he's going to hold on to finishing one of these top 2 spots, as he's got a fast hot rod up there. But back here, 4th, 5th, 6th on back, you just don't know what's going to happen yet.
Well, even at that point, Dylan Fox, it takes one little slip up, and he's not shown any so far, but it takes one little slip up and somebody's on you, and then things can go bad in a hurry. But Dylan Fox, Justin Thomas, Jared Maupin, David Heilman, Virgil Graham, that's your top 6.
And these drivers, I'm seeing a checkered flag right now. I'm not seeing the green-white checker. Dylan Fox may have just won this race.
And looks like there is no green-white checkered. I think you're right. Wow. Well, Tommy, we didn't see that one coming, buddy.
Yeah, that's a little bit different right there. We've had the green-white checkered in every other race, including some heat races and B mains. But no green-white checkered right there. That'll put Dylan Fox as your winner. Justin Thomas, Dylan Thomas, Jarrett Maupin, David Heilman, and Virgil Graham, by the way of the caution, will finish out as your top 6 transfers into the Star Spangled Showdown. That'll be coming up next.
No word on that. That was insanity. Total insanity. As we get the final 6 starters, we're going to talk to a few of them, and then we're going to jump over and get ready for this finale. And tell you what, let's go ahead and bring Dylan Fox in, picking up the win. He started 5th on the grid, got to the lead, was never challenged after that. So we'll bring Dylan Fox up first to get a word with him. Of course, your defending winner of the Spring Fling, picked up $3,000 for that win. Well, Dylan Fox, what a crazy end. We thought it might be a green-white checkered finish. It was not. The one thing we know, though, when you got out front, your car was untouchable. How did it feel from the driver's seat?
Yeah, car felt really good tonight, actually. Last night we were kind of struggling. I just wasn't used to the setup yet, so kind of run a bad lap in qualifying there. And, with the fixed setup and how the tracks are, it's tough to pass. So definitely a lot more comfortable in the car tonight than we were last night.
Well, to get this win, you move off to the main event. 50 laps is a long time. Can you work your way up and get your second big team VLR win of the year in one of these major events?
Yeah, we're going to have to see. I mean, anything can happen. Obviously, we're just going to have to see how the track, wears in. And probably the first half of the race, we're just going to take it easy, and slowly pick off a few spots if we can, and hopefully bring out a podium.
All right, Dylan, we're going to let you get ready for the feature. But first, who would you like to thank?
All the boys on DNRT. Trevor and Ryan had a little bit of bad luck at the end of that race right there. I think got, drove a little bit dirty. I'm not exactly sure, but just thanks to them and you guys for broadcasting, Supermoon Graphics, VLR for running the event, and that's what it.
All right, Dylan. Well, good luck. You'll start 14th in the feature. We'll see you in just a few minutes on the main event server as that gets ready to roll. And real quick, we'll bring in Dylan Thomas, your 3rd place finisher from 12th to 3rd. Well, Dylan Thomas, you made some major moves there. Picked up 9 spots. You get the 3rd and final transfer. How glad were you to see the checkered flag drop on that one, though?
That checkered flag was the best sight I've seen in a long time right there.
Well, it was pretty crazy out there. Guys were headed every different direction, but you're in the main event. What is it going to take for you to come to the front in 50 laps now?
Honestly, a whole lot of luck right there. I feel bad about getting into a couple guys, but you got to do what you got to do. I thought I had them cleared, and the holes were screwing me up, but hey, I made it to 3rd.
Well, Dylan, congratulations. Who would you like to thank that supports your team?
I want to thank all the guys over at SSR, Dylan Petty, Corey Whitworth, Josh Blanchard, Jared Winholtz, and Jack Ritz. Them guys have helped me a lot on the dirt side. Mike M Designs for always giving me a good-looking car, and Yardbird Enterprises.
All right, well, good luck, Dylan. We'll see you over in just a few moments as you get ready for this main event.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next, we're going to bring up, representing the land of Lincoln, Justin Thomas. He finishes in the second spot in car number 9, third to second. And Justin, a crazy feature. You finished second, though. You're in the main event. You're going to start 16th. How excited are you?
I'm pretty pumped right now. This is like my first money race that I've made the show in, so we're pretty happy right now.
Well, I tell you what, drove a good race and get up into second. It's going to be a long time over there, 50 laps. Do you think you've learned enough to be a contender now?
Yeah, I've learned not to leave the inside wall. Just let everybody slide up the racetrack and hopefully pick off a couple cars. These cars they're pretty tail heavy, so you got to keep the tires underneath you and just not get sideways with them, and you'll gain some ground.
Well, Justin, real quick, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my guys over at Mode Motorsports who are over watching tonight. JR and Rock and Frick, all those guys, they support everything I do, and I really appreciate it. And the Speed Lab guys, of course, they're always good buddies. And shout out to Mike McKinney for teaching me how to drive one of these things.
Oh, shout out to McKinney. Well, there you go, JT. Good luck in the main event. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to bring up Jared Maupin real quick. He comes home in 4th after starting 15th. Jared, talk about the run you had in that feature. Be honest with me, did you think you could go from 15th into a transfer spot?
No, not at all. I mean, once that yellow happened, I pretty much lost faith and didn't think anything was going to happen. But got a little lucky and hunted the bottom, and it really just worked out.
Well, you move off to the main event now. After passing that many cars in this preliminary feature, does that give you confidence you can pass that many more in the finale?
Yeah, definitely. In that heat race, I went backwards, and I wasn't feeling good at all. But moving forward in the stacked B feels pretty good, or in the stacked A, actually. Feels pretty good.
All right. Anybody you'd like to thank on your team?
Yeah, I got to thank my teammate, Marcus Michaelchek, South Texas Speedway, for sponsoring me. Actually be there this Saturday racing a real car. And Scott Bardliff for sponsoring this ride, and iFlag Racing, and everybody else that helps us out.
Well, very cool, man. Definitely want to thank South Texas Speedway from all of us. Good luck to you in the main event. We just might be talking to you again here in just a little while.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, there you go. Jared Maupin, the Texas driver. He finishes in the 4th spot. Coming home in the 5th spot, David Heileman and the Casey Kane Racing number 48. And he started on the pole. He comes home in the 5th position. We'll drag David up. Well, David, I know that starting on the pole is disappointing not to win. That's the bad news. The good news is, though, you're in the feature. What do you think about your chances for this 50-lapper?
Yeah, it's about time we made one of these. We've come close, but yeah, I was kind of shocked we started pole, and me and Fox were just rolling up there in front. And then once I had to restart on the outside, kind of got tricky there. And then towards the end, everyone was racing really hard. But yeah, we're just glad we could pick it up. It's gonna be interesting what the track's gonna be like for this. Honestly, I got no expectations coming in. I just don't. This isn't really my car. It's kind of putt around, stay off the throttle, especially here at Volusia. When I'm a sprint car guy, I like to get up on and rip something. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll try to race smart. Hopefully, there's a ton of big wrecks and we can maybe avoid them.
There you go. Rooting for big wrecks and not being a part of them. David Hyland. David, real quick, who would you like to thank?
Slick Sim Sport, KKR Sim Team, Napa Auto Parts, Wicked Energy Gum, and you guys for broadcasting it for all the Hylomaniacs out there.
All right, David. Well, good luck in the main event. We'll see you in just a little bit.
10-4.
All right. Last person we're going to bring in, Virgil Graham. He will be starting 24th on the grid, 13th to 6th. And Virgil, I got to think you were probably as happy as anybody to see that green flag, that checkered flag drop, because it was total chaos and mayhem back there for the final transfer spot.
Yeah, I mean, it was chaos. I was actually happy about 2 different flags. With 10 to go, I was running, I think, 9th or 10th, and then there was a wreck in front, so I got a yellow. That got me caught up, and then, yeah, that checkered flag was nice to see. It was just mayhem, to say the least.
50 laps the distance. Can this race be won from 24th?
Is that where I start?
Yes, sir, it is.
I mean, it can be one from there. I don't know if I'm the guy to do it, but I'm going to sure as hell try.
Well, Virgil, we know you got to get ready. Who would you like to thank for helping you out?
Obviously, thanks to Team VLR for putting this on. Thanks to you guys in the booth for the broadcast. Schaefer Oil, Fox Shocks, and just everybody that's watching and enjoying the race.
All right, Virgil Graham, the Pennsylvania driver, 6th and final transfer. He starts 24th. Guys, it is time to get down to the finale here, getting ready to go for over $3,000 in total prize money. So we're going to sign off from this server. When we come back on the new server, it's going to be the finale, the inaugural Star Spangled Showdown presented by South Texas Speedway. Ben Shelton, Tommy Rowe, and 24 amazing race car drivers getting set to go at it. We'll see you in just a few moments.
Boy, these iRacing iFlag cars are fast tonight.
You know, Todd, I guarantee you, Brown, Leonardi, Weaver, Capert, and Pena are all using them products from their sponsor tonight to give them the upper hand over the competition.
Well, how can I get fast like those guys?
Well, that's easy, Todd. You gotta head over to iRacingIFlag.com.
Diesel engine oil has changed, and Schaefer has got you covered. What'd you expect? We've been doing our thing so you can do your thing since 1839. We've helped pioneer friction modifiers, helped pioneer advances in synthetics. We go so far back, we even helped the pioneers. So, new diesel oil standards? Yeah, we got this. Introducing our new SynShield CK4 and FA4 heavy-duty oils, developed by these guys, our guys who know their stuff. They've been burning the midnight oil to bring you these new oil technologies for years. Next-generation oils that deliver like only Schaefer can. Durability blends that take you to extremes and back. OTR formulas that keep you rolling longer for less. More driving, less draining with our Max MPG oil. And an ultra performance oil that lets you put a foot in soot like nobody's business. More miles, greater protection, lower TCO, Schaefer's quality. Yeah, that's the stuff. Diesel engine oil may have changed, but Schaefer, we've been preparing since 1839.
And we're getting ready to go for the largest paid race in iRacing history.
13 different states, 2 different countries.
25 of the best, $3,000 on the line. Driver from Glenbula, Wisconsin, and the D1RT Supermoon graphics. That'll be Dylan Fox. And the pace truck makes that hard left-hand turn, and we are underway with the 12th annual Spring Fling. Business is picking up side by side for the race lead. There's Leonardi. He powers up to position number 2 on the outside.
into turns 1 and 2. Up to the fence. Look out, Vince gets into the wall. Looks like he is upside down in the caution waits. Heartbreak City. Alex Bergeron from 25th to 10th. We'll keep an eye on car number 12, as now he goes up to 9th.
Dylan Fox, he's just taking it nice and smooth, very easy around the Knoxville Raceway.
Off into turns 3 and 4, final time. The winner of the 12th annual Schaefer's Oil Spring Fling coming to us. It's Dylan Fox in the 999.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are watching live here on the TeamVLR.com Facebook page. We're getting set to go over to our main event server for our 50 laps of feature racing. This stream will come to an end, but we'll hope you'll stick around as the new stream is coming up right now. And that'll kick off our 50-lap main event server with a new stream here live on the TeamVLR.com Facebook page. And we'll see you in just a few moments.